Just nipping down the leg side. Might have got a little inside edge. He didn't. A leg by. Just slipping down the leg side. 3 gone. 16 for 1. Head, Labuschagne, Carey, Maxwell, Green. No promises that that will be the order, though. I think they can toss a coin for who could walk in next. There's some wonderful players in that mix. We know Maxwell is the real aggression amongst the rest to come. Success already for Sri Lanka. Dusmanta Chimera with the short one. Slip and a leg slip.
Well played from Aaron Finchetta to get to the other end. This will be an interesting matchup here with Theekshana and Mitch Marsh. Mitch Marsh's role is to be the aggressor at number 3. We've seen he likes to move the game forward, and he has been taking the spinners on early in these power play, but Theekshana is another beast. He's got the carom ball to go the other way. Mitch will need to give himself an opportunity to get in, get used to the pace of the wicket, and get used to what Theekshana is bowling. At full strength, it'll be interesting to see whether they keep using Mitch Marsh in this role or bat him down at number 5 to play the last overs of a one-day game. Well, this is a tactic moving forward. We've got a World Cup in the subcontinent where the first 10 overs are going to be important to take the game on. Mitch has sort of found a place for himself at number 3 in the 2020, taking the game on. Whether that stays the same moving forward when Steve Smith's back.
We've had a call from upstairs again. Another no ball. Another free hit. I'm not sure which one Theekshana would want on strike, but he's going to have to deal with Marsh.
Well, I definitely wouldn't want Mitch Marsh on strike for the no ball. These are the sort of moments and get someone like Mitchy Marsh into the rhythm of his game. He's got no pressure this ball. You know the power he's got. And all of a sudden get momentum going into your innings.
Got away with another one. 2 dots. From 2 no balls for Theekshana.
Got a long batting line-up today from the Australians. We've got Cameron Green down to come in at 8. We're not sure whether that'll be the case. They do have batting depth today.
I wonder if that's an indication that he's a little unsure of which way it's going to turn. Mitchell Marsh played back to something that was very, very full there. Looks as though he wants to play back to almost everything.
Interesting that the Sri Lankan captains picked that up. They've moved their leg slip out into a cover. I'd be enticed now to get him back into leg slip. Show Mitch Marsh that real estate in front of his face. See if he wants to play that shot early, but he's not quite sure which way the ball's going.
Ball from the over, 20 for 1. Australia won those first 2 T20 internationals and they would have been very confident from there on in, but the Sri Lankans, they've had other ideas. They have scrapped and scrapped. They may have lost the series, but you just feel that there's a genuine belief in the Sri Lankan outfit now that they can beat these Australians.
And I think that came off the back end of the last 2020 match. That I thought the captain played an amazing knock under a lot of pressure. The game looked like it was gone, but he got it back in Sri Lanka's favour. And since then, we've seen gradual improvement in the way they presented themselves in the field. Their bowlers are starting to understand their role too. And you also got to remember they've got a new coach in Chris Silverwood, so he's going to have different demands, different game plans that he wants on his team.
Bit of fielding in the deep. The other thing that Dasan Chanaka's innings did is it got the people of Sri Lanka believing, and all of a sudden we had full houses at every game, and every single person that occupied a seat or an area on a grass bank, they started to believe and get behind this team.
I think that's been one of the most pleasing things through the whole series. We've had sellout crowds in every game, that the crowds got right behind Sri Lanka, and you can see momentum changing when the crowd starts to get into the game, and you can see the young Sri Lankan players really enjoy having the crowd behind them. They've brought the crowd into the game, and that's the thing Australia need to stop today. They've got to make sure those momentum, they don't let it get back into Sri Lanka's favour where the crowd can get into the game.
I want to touch a little bit again on this Australian batting lineup. We've spoken now about the power that they have, but how dangerous is it when you start picking players that aren't accustomed to batting in certain roles? I mean, someone in this batting lineup is going to bat in a position that they really haven't had a lot of experience in.
Obviously, guys bat in different positions for their state, but we've also got a World Cup coming up, both in 20 overs and 50 overs. Your top order is pretty settled with Finch, Warner, Steve Smith. You've got to find out whether these guys can play different roles. You've got Alex Carey down at 5. I think he's more suited to closing out the game with Glenn Maxwell. He runs between the wickets well. He can sweep. And I see him more of a finisher. Cameron Green, someone who I think needs time to accumulate his runs. He's got a big reach in that middle overs to the spin. So he can be a point of difference there just with his height and the way he plays. So we've got to find out with some of these players. Travis Head's a very interesting one. He's done all his work in the white ball game up the top of the order where he's very aggressive. He likes the ball coming on. And he's got to find a way in this Australian team to be able to start to spin. Use the crease, use it forward and back, get off strike, and develop a game plan for that.
Pace is not dropping off here by Chamira. That'll be 4. It was in the air for a brief moment, but it was timed well enough.
Well timed there by Australian captain Aaron Finch. Just allowed that ball to come under his eyes. Didn't try to overhit it. Just used the pace at Chamira. For a second, Sri Lanka thought they were in the game. He's beat the left of that mid-wicket field for a value of 4 runs for the captain.
We've spoken about aggression and how important it is, but that follow-up delivery is also important. And when he has hit a good area, he's gone past the outside edge, first of David Warner, then of Aaron Finch. But I think just too often he just strays a little bit, wants to go straight, and it strays a bit onto leg stump. He needs to hit those good areas. He's got enough pace to trouble the batters.
Straight away with that shot of Aaron Finch, which a field change, slips, come out to and catch him mid-wicket.
Five gone, 28 for 1. Early strike for Sri Lanka. David Warner on the pull shot, holding out to deep fine leg. A good catch by Mahesh Dikshana in the deep.
The infielders here have a really important role here for Dikshana as well. Mitch Marsh, he's come back in the team after a calf injury. You want to build some dot balls on Mitch Marsh. We know he's a big hitter, but you want to make him feel that scoreboard pressure. Don't allow him to get off strike easy.
Oh, yes, my ace.
pushing back very early. Very early he's pushing to play back Mitchell Marsh.
He's feeling his way at the moment, Mitch Marsh. Just getting used to the pace of the wicket. It's a carom ball there. He's gone back and played that well in the end.
Tikshan's got to be smart here as well, because Marsh looking to play back. But if he just sees a hint of flight and he feels as though it's over pitch, that's the step hit for Mitchell Marsh. Lovely little contest though.
It's a great contest here. Tikshan has done a really good job, backed up well from his fielders. That's 3 dots in a row from Mitch Marsh. We know he's naturally aggressive. Got to give yourself a chance with a bowler like Tikshan.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, the off spin is conventional, isn't it? It's that other one where a number of the Australian batters have just been a little unsure when he's bowling the one that nips away. Aaron Finch had to just go back for a moment, and that's the reason why they weren't able to get through for 2.
There's an early call there from Mitch Marsh too, but as you said, Aaron Finch had to go back, get himself in the crease. Well played there from Mitchy Marsh. Give himself some time at the other end. A look at Tikshan. Allowed the experienced Aaron Finch to take the rest of the over.
Good run. Good run, tidy over. 30 for 1. Some blue skies in Colombo, but it is a steamy day here. It won't be very comfortable for the two sides until night comes upon us. But a decent start for the Sri Lankans. They've got plenty of bowling. Dasun Shanaka, the captain, he can bowl a few seamers. Chamika Karunaratne was very, very impressive in the final, the last ODI, that second ODI. We've got spin in Jeffrey Vandersai and Dhananjaya De Silva. So lots of options for Dasun Shanaka.
Just look here, Karunaratne coming to the bowl in a crease, a man the match last one-day game. But what he did really well, got in the face of the Australian batsman. He looked to get their wicket. He made life uncomfortable. He had put a real presence on the game. And off the back of that, his fielders backed up and the game changed. The momentum of the game swung back to Sri Lanka.
There was some good catching as well. Dasun Shanaka took a good catch. Harlegate took a good catch in the deep. It was the energy of Karunaratne that swayed things. That's fallen just short. Just short.
Now it's up to Karunaratne. He had a really good game last game. It's about backing it up. It's not about just leaving that performance in the second ODI out in the field there. Look at Aaron Finch just in front of his body a little bit there, just dropped short of the gully. But what you want to see from your lead bowler now is to back that performance up. Another aggressive performance, put some pressure back on the Australians and not leave it back last game. It's about this moment now.
Good shot. Good shot for 4. Nearly cleaned the umpire up.
And this is a really good sign for Aaron Finch. Nice and still at the crease. Hasn't tried to overhit that ball. Yes, it was upish. No chance of being caught. Look at here, he's got a stable base. He hasn't moved. Aaron Finch, that's a real good sign for his batting, that he's got a stable base at the crease and looking to time the ball and not overhit it.
It just highlights the slowness of the surface. It just holds a little bit, which is probably the reason why the ball went slightly aerial back past the bowler in the acknowledgement. He didn't do it on purpose. Got himself a start here, Aaron Finch. got himself a few starts since he's been in Sri Lanka, but hasn't gone on.
It's been a trend with the Australian batsmen, hasn't it? They've all got starts, and Aaron Finch spoke about it after last one-day game, that they needed someone to go on, and there's no better opportunity for him now. He's in, he's 19 off 19 balls, he's got used to the conditions. You need one of the top order to go on and get a big score and to bat around.
Not quite where he wanted it, but he's such a strong man, Mitchell Marsh. He'll get a boundary.
Yeah, not quite where he wanted to go, Mitch Marsh, but he showed his intention clear. Yes, he had a little bit of trouble picking the spin early doors, but he does match up really well to the medium pace. He likes to take the game on. It looked like he tried to hit that over mid-off, but just got the inside edge of the bat. He's a strong, strong man, Mitchell Marsh. He's still got the result he was after.
Both captains mentioned the dryness of the surface. Even our esteemed colleague Russell Arnold spoke about the dryness of the surface, proving to be correct. Not often, but this occasion proving to be correct.
He does enjoy that moment, Russ, doesn't he? That 2 minutes out there to work the wicket. Heels it. It's the pace, walks up and down. Very, very good at the pitch report.
He had to hold his shape for a long time there, Mitchell Marsh, due to the slowness of that surface, and it ends up being just a chip over mid-off for 2. It concludes the 7, 41 for 1.
Australia will be happy with this start now. 7 overs gone, 41 for 1, even though they lost the wicket of David Warner. Finch and Marsh. Partnership at about a run a ball. They really haven't gone too hard at it, even though you get the impression that the first 10 overs are so crucial with the ball being hard, the field restrictions. Must you capitalize on it? But they basically played the ball on its merits. So good afternoon to Parvez Maroof.
Good afternoon.
Parvez Maroof.
Thank you for that, Russell. Good afternoon to you and all our viewers. It's got a good start, Australia, in the toss, batting first. Slow conditions. I think, Aaron Finch will be the keys to settle batsman. We all know these sort of conditions. Important to get the start and go big. As you mentioned in the pitch report, it's going to be tough work, slow. It's going to be one of those games. You're going to be patient and really need to work hard for your runs.
Yeah, skill is one side, but in conditions like this, it's the smart cricketer who will come out on top. Be tactically strong, wear the opposition down. Little passages. If you're not careful, the game can change very quickly against you. For the game to come into your favor or to turn for you, you have to work over a period of time. Cannot just sit back and bank on the fact that the opposition will gift it to you.
Just have the feeling it's one of those pitches where nothing happens to the batsman scoring runs and suddenly a wicket goes. There's always a good chance for a second one to go. Clusters, that's been the problem with Australia especially, as well as Sri Lanka in the previous 2 ODIs. I think in these conditions it's going to be more suitable for spinners. It'll be tough work. And the spinners, well, the length will be very, very crucial. Probably here more than Pallakali.
To counter slower conditions, you need to use different options. That awareness. Little quicker, ends the 8. 44 for 1.
That was a good testing over by Mahesh Deekshana. Just bowled his 4th over, just giving away 14 runs. He's guilty of bowling a couple of no balls, but other than that, he's been quite good. Radial route of R. Premdas International Stadium in Colombo 10. Beautiful stadium as well as the vicinity around. Priya Inchu is there. There was a practice pitch has been used. The high performance centre or just there. Partnership 30 of 34 so far among Finch and Marsh.
44 for 1. Colombo. Nice and sunny. It's a wonderful atmosphere, and that's what cricket has done for everyone around. The Aussies being here was, or coming over initially, was a lift, but then the cricket on shore. Dunit Wellalage from the Maligav at the end, showing great signs. Player for the future, with bat, with ball in the field. Love his attitude. I think she's seen his future through those binoculars.
Good eye, Russell. Yeah, Wellalage has started really well, just into his 3rd game. Huge impact, especially in the last game. The crowd still pouring in. See, almost filled up. It's a Sunday holiday.
Oh, nice and slow. Inviting the batsman to make the pace. That's what Wellalage will do. Parveez Maroof from this neck of the woods.
Just a hop and a cross from Premdas Stadium. Did all my childhood over here.
Finch having a good look. Finch looks like he wants to dig in for the long haul. We had 2 T20 internationals here at the R. Premdas Stadium. And then up to the hills, a T20 and 2 one-day internationals. The cricket play that was very different. The Sri Lankans suddenly found their mojo. Focusing on the conditions itself, the pitch. Which pitch was faster? Which pitch had more bounce? Well, having a look at this. More bounce in Colombo, but more pace up in Kandy. That was a slight difference the players had to adjust to. And in terms of spin as well, Kandy had a little bit more turn on offer. The subtle changes. On with the arm. Wasn't short, but Australia trying to play off the back foot now. More bounce here, and Warner generally very good against the short ball.
The height was very good. It was right near the head height between shoulder and the helmet. Was trying to go over square with a bit of a pace. Disman Chamira, including Chamik Karunaratne, especially up in Pallakele, used that bounce for good effect. I think that's something that Sri Lanka have done their homework correct.
Going back to Kandy in that second ODI, very surprisingly, it was the short ball that really got Sri Lanka the game. Well, that ends the 9th. We'll have a look at it in the next over. 45 for 1.
A good start by young Wellalage, just giving away 1 run. That was evident of everything. Some ball turned, some went arm with the arm. Like the pace he bowled as well. Quite slow, 80 kilometers per hour. Final one. A few changes in the Australian team. Steve Smith missing out through injury, replaced by Mitchell Marsh. And then Cameron Green, the lanky all-rounder, coming in for Mitchell Swepson. And Pat Cummins been rested and replaced by Jai Richardson.
45 for 1. Well, talking about the short balls, let's look at what Sri Lanka did in Kandy, and surprisingly it worked. Sri Lanka against Australia.
I think the bounces were spot on, right into the body. Look at that, especially with Maxwell and Labuschagne. I thought the way Dushmantha and Chamika dished those bouncer up, and they just got the Australians rattled a bit, as far as I'm concerned. You mentioned about the pace off the pitch. That's where Sri Lankans did make the full use of it. Bounce, yes, our Premadasa Stadium have offered it, but when it comes to ball skidding on with pace, Chamika Karunaratne is quite effective. Short-sighted, and he's going to bang it short, similar with Dushmantha Chamira.
3 wickets off the short ball. Steve Smith, slower short one. Then they got Glenn Maxwell, who had a party the day before, scoring that 80 and taking the game away from Sri Lanka, and Pat Cummins. Would it be something Sri Lanka would turn to in this game, or will the conditions dictate that, Farvez?
Conditions will be far different. Remember, the last 2 games, the Sri Lankan team were bowling under lights. The ball tends to skid on, especially up in Pallakele. But today, it's scorching hot. The wicket is on the slower side. It will be a tough task. There's a miss hit by Mitchell Marsh, who's trying to go over long off. So that's where Sri Lankans have to be much smarter, especially the 2 quicks, Karunaratne and Chamira. Yes, you need to remind the batsman it's not going to be full every time. And you've got to make sure you pitch the right side as well.
Last over of the power play. Still only the 2 fielders outside. That's the long on and a deep mid wicket. 47 for 1. I'd say it's an even power play. They have not let Australia run away with it. Finch looking quite in control of what he's doing out there. But on the other hand, Mitch Marsh, slightly harder hands and searching for that ball. Of course, Mitch Marsh has missed a few, so he's not spent too much time in the middle.
Different sort of a game plan used by Aaron Finch, the Australian skipper, taking much risk. Previously, I've seen love to go after spin bowling. This time it's time to work those singles, battery overs, and you mentioned about wicket being slower. Russ, last score of 240, 250, you think?
I would think so. You do need that. Initially try and get there. Because you aim higher, you might go too hard, lose wickets, and find yourself in trouble. I did tell you, it's the smart cricketer who'll come out on top today.
Also the tactics, very interesting to know how Dasun Shanaka is going to use Teekshana. Started well, someone who loves to bowl with the new ball, and the ball seems to have that lacquer to skid on. And this is the difference. That was the off spinner, much slower.
10 gone, 47 for 1.
Another good over by Mahesh Teekshana, giving the full rep, isn't it? Giving a real rip. That's why he has developed really well, the off spinner. Previously when he started, he was going through only carom ball, but now he has developed the off spinner, the googly, the full repertoire. That's a nice sign. Good camera shots as well. See the aerial route of in around Colombo 10 out of Premadasa Stadium. Finch 31 deliveries for 23.
Bit more protection now for the bowler. That's what umpire Kumar Dharmasena signals. The second power play. Maximum of 4 allowed, which allows the spinner to try and buy a wicket. Maybe be slightly braver that he has more protection in the deep. First 10 overs, Australia won the toss. That was a no ball, a free hit which Warner put away. Quick outfields, that's what you see. Sri Lanka, the only wicket that they got. Good short one, and Teekshana hangs on. Aerial away from the fielder. Crowd catch. Marsh looking to power it through.
Quite evidently, Bellalagi trying to slow things down.
Mendes in the team, the only correction, Mendes not keeping today because Dickwell is in the team. for the injured Tanushka Guna.
To be driven on the up. Card letter been done and he's gone. Mitch Marsh gone for 10. Australia lose their second. 47.
Australia lose their second wicket, 47 on ball.
Time for a partnership for Australia. Manas, that was Cagney. Best of 100, the ideal type of player you want in at this stage. But this is very, very clever bowling. Dunit Wellalage, watch it. Into the air, drops ever so slightly short of the batsman who's been looking to cover the ball. This is what will happen.
Driving on the up will be difficult in this pitch. Slow, low. The young man, Wellalage, the 19-year-old kid, he's showing his full of repertoire. The entire series, he's been brilliant in all conditions. Even Sri Lanka trusted him in the death overs. He delivered it until the last over. But today, the conditions are so good, I think he'll be a handful.
We haven't seen turn. Just change of pace. We're seeing. Now here's an interesting stat for Sri Lankan fans. In the last 5 years, when Australia have lost 2 wickets for under 50 runs, they end up losing 64% of their games. I like the pace. He's dropped it down to the 79s and 80s. Wellalage.
Don't have that time. Showing his everything. Look at that time to go towards mid-wicket, Labuschagne. Evidently keeping his off stump clear.
Well watched. Plays it late. Manas is off the mark. Now watch the first three balls of this over. Wellalage. Full. Marsh powers it. Now this is the one that did it. Same length. He went on the back foot. It went near the stump. Very next ball. He's down trying to power it through the covers. Ends up playing in front of the body. That arm ball, even though it didn't pick up the wicket, creates anxiousness in the batsman's mind. 11 gone, 48 for 2.
A successful over for young Wellalage, getting rid of Mitchell Marsh. Crowd coming in. They're sure it will be almost a house full, being a Sunday, a holiday in Sri Lanka. Most wickets for spinners at a venue in ODIs. Arpena Stadium ever since then. It's 130 wickets, 786 wickets. That's a lot. As expected, Sharjah Cricket Stadium with 244 games. They're almost up to 1,200.
Deekshana gets a break. Mahesh Deekshana bowled 5 overs. He's gone wicketless, but tidy overs. 19 dots in those 5 overs that he bowled. Here's Jeffrey Fantasy. The slip weights. Well, he's got to get it to pitch if he wants some assistance. Dasun Shana catch very short extra cover. Waiting for the batsman to push slightly in front of that pad, and that's the area the ball might lob into.
And also keeping the mid-wicket vacant. The batsmen want to go towards mid-wicket, get the top edge, and be caught at probably caught and bowl or caught at short extra cover. For Aaron Finch, it's different. The short fine leg goes down to a short mid-wicket. That's Kusal Mendis.
He's looking to bowl a lot slower. Trying to say it's down to 81.5, 80.7. Those fielders in the circle must really creep in. The drop and run must not be an option.
Going with the arm that time by Vandersay. Probably Finch wanted to play for the turn as Australia brings up their 50, the 12th over. Did watch Jeffrey Vandersay warming up before the game, and was trying to bowl much slower. Usually he's quite quick through the air as well as off the pitch. Something that is trying to bring into the game.
He's got to make sure in trying to slow it down, not take the energy out of it. You still got to use your sides, you still got to drive through. Not, it makes it easier for the batsman to judge. Will not get the ball to dip. Dipping means suddenly tends to drop on the batsman, and that's when you can catch him napping or force him to make a mistake.
Just like the last delivery, there's a lot of reps on it. Over the years, been watching Jeffrey Vandersay for a long time, and he doesn't bowl well when confidence is down. That's where he doesn't follow through much and doesn't give that rip. That comes with the confidence factor. But nowadays, since he's been playing for a while, the domestic Sakcham, he's been in the limelight for a long time. End of the 12th, Australia 52 for 2. Plenty of support as usual at the Premdas Stadium. Skipper Finch and Buchanan batting for Australia. A couple of wickets down. Plenty of batting to come still. Carey, Head, Maxwell, Cameron Green, a player who was playing in the Sri Lanka Australia Ace one-day series, scored 100 in the first game.
.52 for 2 after 12. Wellalage. Mitch Marsh. The ball before he got out. Trying to get on the back foot, going on with the arm, and then the dismissal slightly fuller, slightly higher. The reason for Marsh also to come onto the front foot was it went slightly higher. Subtle changes, but all around that off stump, which means you have to play and keep making decisions.
Yeah, the line is quite close to the off stump, and we spoke about it on the up in this slowest pitch. The ball gets old, it's going to be tough work. But Mitchell Marsh, hard hands. To drive, loves to hit those big shots. What's the downfall then?
Ball on a string, not giving it anything. Into his third over, just the 3 runs conceded by Wellalage. Looking assured. Finch 58 for 2.
Bound is spoiling the good over bowled by Velalage. Bowling for Sri Lanka so far. 5 bowlers been used still. Skipper Shanaka got the luxury of using Dhananjay De Silva and himself, Asun Shanaka. Plenty of spin. We got part-time of Charita Solanki if needed as well. So a decent start by Sri Lanka after the first 10 overs was dominated by Australia. Jeffrey Van der Sey to continue. Bowled into 4 runs in the first over. Bowler this time. Oh, searching for it. Labuschagne going far, probably over, trying to go extra cover. Slowness of that delivery. Got the top edge and landed nowhere.
Making him fetch it. Swepson's not playing for Australia today. Made 3 changes. Steve Smith is more a forced change. Mitch Marsh is back in. He's dismissed already. Pat Cummins is sitting out. Jai Richardson is back in. And Cameron Green is an all-rounder. Full seam up. He comes in for Mitch Swepson. Just the one change for Sri Lanka. Groin injury to Danushka Gunatilaka forces him out. And Niroshan Dickwella, he's keeping wickets and will bat at the top of the order. It's always exciting when Dickwella is in the team for the simple reason you get to see Dickwella things.
Oh, yes, good bowling, Andy.
Nicely clipped away the googly by Labuschagne. Dickwella hasn't started these Dickwella things yet. Usually quite chirpy behind the stumps and quiet. Just getting into the groove. Have not played ODI cricket for a while. Just played the 2 test matches in Bangladesh.
Went straight down. Wasn't really a chance. Velalage herring after that one.
That was a good chase and a good ball by Van der Sey. Straight going down, dying down. Dhananjay De Silva at first slip had no chance. This young man has been energetic. We spoke about how a gun fielder he is. He's been showing it even the last game. Took a brilliant catch.
6 runs off the 14th over. Australia are 64 for 2.
.64 for 2. 14 overs completed. Very good afternoon to everybody joining us. It's a hot, it's a humid day at the R. Premadasa International Stadium. Velalage just continues. He's been impressive so far. Into his 4th over. He's conceded 9 runs. The young left-arm spinner. Very watchful Australia, Brad, against him.
Yeah, good afternoon, Roshan. Very good spell. Young spinner. Got a contest here at the moment. Aaron Finch playing well. Finding runs hard to come by the Australians.
Looking to probe that off-stump line. Tossing it up. Change of pace. Bearing it quite well.
The big wicket of Mitch Marsh, but some beautiful bowling, the subtle changes of pace. You didn't see much change in his action. It's got a little bit fuller and a little bit slower. Steve Marsh in flight, and in the end it was a simple catch to short cover. Doing a great job here, Sri Lanka. And Finch, 36, 45 balls, holding the Australians together.
Looking to try and strangle the Australians with spin. We've just seen 1 over from Chamika Karunaratne, and then 3 from Chamira at the top. Been all spin since then. Sri Lanka has a lot of spin bowling options if they want to. Plenty of part-timers. He's been drifting a little bit onto the pads in this over. Australia has been smart working it into gaps for singles.
Very good player, spin, Marnus. His strength is working around. He does play the sweep and reverse sweep, but one of his real strengths is getting off strike, not allowing the bowler to build dot ball pressure.
See that loop in Belala Gates. It's very tempting, isn't it?
She's trying to tempt Aaron Fincher to go over cover. With this wicket just holding, it's a risk to take. We know he's strong over the offside.
End of the over. 15 gone. 68 for 2.
Wellagate, he's bowling a lot. Only a young man, but shown a lot of experience with the way he's flying the ball. It's in his second game. Nice subtle changes of pace.
So look at that Sri Lankan lineup. Not much experience in terms of bowling. Dushmantha Chamira with 42 games and Dhananjay De Silva with 59 games as bowlers. Vilalagate just into his 3rd game. Karunaratne 16.
As a keeper, I like the inclusion of Dick Weller. He gives the team a lot of energy. We've already heard him over the stump mics right in the game, encouraging the Australian batsmen.
That turn, Marnus Labuschagne played late. Just looked to play it off the pitch. Very lucky.
They're very lucky there. He's gone back much. Caught a bit on the crease. Oh, just missed shading that off stump. Needs to get forward to that one, Marnus. Just reading that ball off the wicket.
It's not been an easy surface to bat on, I'll tell you. And that's why Sri Lanka need to watch this Australian score. Take a look at 2 balls ago, as you said. Labuschagne's feet going nowhere.
Just got caught in the crease. He tried to just play it, close space in that gap in mid-wicket, but needs to go forward or back and give himself the best chance.
It's been a tough time for Jeffrey van der Sey. He's into his 17th game, but has never had a continuous run. He's been in and out, so he's never been able to settle in. He's been under the shadow of Hasaranga. And it's opportunities like this that has come his way, where he needs to make the most of it.
He's very similar style bowling to Hasaranga. One thing I have noticed about, he's got very good control. This surface will offer a bit of spin, but his control's the key. He can bowl to his field. He's got mid-on up. He's trying to encourage Aaron Finch to go against the spin over mid-on.
What he's done here is that you could see that he's slowed down. Normally he used to be a briskish leg spinner who tends to push the ball through a bit quicker. But he seemed to have slowed down. He's bowling in the high 80s. The odd delivery just under 80 because he understands the surface. Another quick single. This is good running. Very good running. Just a drop and run. 72 for 2.
It's frustrating, that single there for a bowler. Did all the hard work, build the pressure. Like to see another dot ball, but well played from Aaron Finch to get to the other end. And that's the key at the moment. Australia need to keep the scoreboard ticking, keep rotating the strike. They've got a long batting lineup today, so they've got wickets in hand. They can go hard at the end.
Finch the key as far as Australia is concerned. He's done the hard work. He's made 37. He's got through that initial stage. Australia will want him to bat deep. Ilalagi continues into his 5th over. 1 for 12. He's been impressed. I've been impressed with him, the way he's been using the crease as well. He gets close to the stumps, that time going a little bit wider, holding it back. But look at the ribs on the ball. And also, I think I saw a slight explosion there.
I've been watching him closely for the last couple of overs. He has been using the crease very well. And the other thing is, he's been changing his pace. Australia haven't been allowed to get a rhythm, but he's looking to take wickets. He's kept the slip in the whole time. Mid-on's up. He's trying to get the batsman to go over mid-on. But just look at this. Just takes a bit of the surface. Australian bowlers would have noticed that. So would have Aaron Finch. Just past that outside edge. Ball taken by Dick Weller.
Sri Lanka continues to have a slip. They understand the opportunity of an outside edge. And also the fact that they need to maintain that attacking instinct. So you reckon 220 for Australia?
I think that they'd want more than that. You'd want up around 250.
Leading edge, goodness. It was slowed down. And Labuschagne just a little bit early.
Yes, boys.
Well bowled there. Just look at this. He's just gone slower, a bit higher. Over stage, trying to work that through that. A lot of real estate there at mid-wicket. Got a leading edge, but well bowled.
Not afraid to throw it up. They'll come back for 2. They're only a single. Quite pleased with singles. They don't want to get to the other end.
And that's been a feature of the Sri Lankans all series, is their fielding. The leading edge there from Marnus, lucky to fall short, but they've recognised the big moments in the field. They've worked hard. Every run's important here now to build pressure.
Oh, that ball, the one that comes in with the arm, going wide to the crease. 2 runs off that over. Time for some drinks. Australia 74 for 2.
Made by Australia.
When a nation loves coffee, they have their own. Which is why McCafe created one just for us. Introducing the Australiano, made with McCafe coffee, chai and native wattle seed. Now that's coffee fit for an Aussie.
It's tax time made super with Super Cheap Auto. Get 30% off Tool Pro Edge tool cabinets and get this Sony CarPlay Android Auto media player for $4.99. Make it super. Super Cheap Auto. At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest with 60 approximately equal monthly payments from Latitude and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. That's a bonus $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend on interest-free. Now at Harvey Norman.
When every day's a big day, you want to protect every unmissable moment. Support your immune health daily with Blackmore's high-potency vitamin C range, Bio-C.
It was Monday. I turned on Fox League. I was hooked. Eat, sleep, league, repeat. I just couldn't get enough. League's most legendary team, all week long. Eat, sleep, league, repeat.
Australia have lost 2 wickets. Well, lots of people are very thankful to the Australians for touring Sri Lanka. Well, if you're contemplating no better place than Sri Lanka to come. Plenty of wildlife. Indeed, lovely scenery, the peacocks. And the rest. It is a place of natural beauty, and I can tell you that Sri Lanka can and Sri Lanka will. There's no doubt about it. So if you are thinking about it, you should not think twice. You should come. And you should visit this beautiful island. And this is the time. Plenty to watch, plenty of opportunities.
And one thing we have seen today, there's a few vacant seats, but as the game's gone on, Sri Lanka are in a real contest here with Australia. The crowds come in. We've had wonderful crowds all series. In the 2020 games and the last 2 one-days, we've had sellout crowds. And once again, we've got a magnificent crowd enjoying the cricket. Sri Lanka are playing a young team, an exciting team that are really enjoying this contest against Australia.
2 wickets lost so far. Warner was the first. Quick short delivery, wasn't in control, top edge. It was a hard stop, isn't it? The man point blank, he made sure he caught it. And then Mitch Marsh deceived a little bit in the flight, driving rather loosely, and Velalage getting that wicket.
The wicket there, Mitch Marsh by Velalage. What we didn't see there was the 2 previous balls, the build-up in that dismissal there. Mitch Marsh had played a shot previous, the catch on the offside just short, but it was just that little bit extra fight, slower and wider, that suckered Mitch Marsh into the shot. And in the end, it was a very simple catch at short cover.
More spin at the far end. Jeffrey Van der Sar. Dragged down the wrong one from Van der Sar. They want a second. Happy with 1.
It's twice in the last 2 overs. Marnus has looked for the second. He's been sent back by his captain, Aaron Finch. Been out there some time now. Aaron Finch, he's realised the Sri Lankans are keen in the field. Marnus just a little bit over-enthused.
The line he will want to bowl. Good pace as well, just 80 Ks around that off stump.
He's realised the key is just to slow it down a bit. Surface is hard to generate any pace, but since he slowed it down around 80, getting a bit of turn off the surface. There's a straight one there. Aaron Finch just played across the line. Big inside edge. He's causing some trouble here to the Australians. That mid-on is up, which I like. He's trying to entice Australia to go over top, maybe bring a wicket and inside edge to that catch in mid-wicket.
The pace he's bowled is just been little above 80 or a few notches under 80. Running repairs for umpire Lyndon Hannibal, I think. Very handy, aren't they, the umpires? They got the scissors, they got all the requirement. Well bowled, well bowled. There's certainly nice dip from Van der Sar, turn as well. Found the outside edge.
Well bowled here from Van der Sar. Just look at this, little bit of puff out of the wicket, takes the outside edge. Well fielded though by Sri Lanka, keeping the pressure on the Australians.
Put him down. Wasn't easy. He was wide. But Van der Sar found the outside edge. There was turn and bounce.
That's twice in 2 balls. Van der Sar's found the outside edge of Aaron Finch. This time he's gone back. The slip would have been just blinded for a second from the keeper. Would have been a great reflex catch, but luck goes there to the Australians. They're the ones you need to take. Been building pressure.
Inside edge. 77 for 2.
You look at this drop catch here. It was off the back foot. It's just moved late, but from a slips point of view, he would have been blinded with the ball on the back foot. He would have been blinded by the keeper. And that's just a reflex catch there to first slip. Unlucky for Sri Lanka, but good for Australia. Aaron Finch is 39 not out now. As he said in the previous game, they need someone to go big in this top three.
Well, they already started dancing in the aisles. It's a good crowd again, I'll tell you. Candy was magnificent. And I could have agreed more with HD when he said that it was Dasun Shanaka's innings that really caught the imagination and created that belief in the people to come in and support.
He created belief in everyone. The whole country was seeing the spectators, but also the Sri Lankan cricket team. After that innings from the captain, they started to believe, they started to think they can compete with this Australian team. And since then, they've probably had the better of the match play. He sent a wonderful innings in the first game from Glenn Maxwell, but apart from that, Sri Lanka have looked in control, put a lot of pressure on Australia with their presence, with how much they believe now they can beat this Australian cricket team.
Yeah, they certainly have that newfound confidence after that win, and particularly beating Australia in that last game. And they're trusting themselves very hard, realizing Australia's status in the world stage. They're world champions, and they're a team that is not easily dominated. We'll be talking about T20 though. That is a very good white ball team, Australia. In fact, they're good in every format, so that's why it makes it gives Sri Lanka so much more in terms of defeating Australia.
They're an up-and-coming team, Sri Lanka, out there. They've got a lot of talent in the team, that they play their home conditions well. They've also got a new coach in Chris Silverwood, who they're getting used to his style. But what we've seen over the last couple of games is they're wheeling. They've got a great presence in the field. They're bowling well to their tactics. And they haven't been intimidated. And Chamira has a lot to do with that. I like the way he bowled last game. He's aggressive against the Australians. He used his short ball, but he used his pace as well, and he looked to get wickets, not just survive. He looked to get wickets and try to get the Australian batsmen out.
Drifting onto the pads from their single. Australia hasn't really looked comfortable against spin, have they? The last 30 balls have realized just 16 runs, not a boundary for the last 6 overs. Last ball of the over. Again, straight to the man at point. 2 runs off that over. 79 for 2. Those buildings have got progressively smaller. Van der Sar continues.
Australia's job now, though, to weather this storm, keep building this partnership. Marnus' job is continue to hit the gaps, keep running hard between the wickets, build a total. They do bat deep, Australian. They have wickets in hand and people set. In the last 15 to 10 overs, that they can catch him with his bowling attack of Sri Lanka. But the one thing they haven't had in the previous games is someone set going into those last 10 overs to capitalise.
That's a big one. Finch was biding his time. Van der Sar tossing it up. It's gone the distance. That releases the pressure, releases the frustration.
That's Aaron Finch's strength. He's a very strong bottom hand player. It's a first boundary. After 40 balls, he's picked the wrong one. Safe shot, mid-on was up. Now you have to give Aaron Finch a sniff with the power he has. And as we said, that's a first boundary in 40 balls.
Mid-on continues to be inside the 30-yard circle. Sri Lanka looking to play that aggressive tone. They'll come back for 2. Trying to say just sliding down the leg side with his wrong hand.
A good sign there from the Australians, though. Aaron Finch is starting to pick the surface. He picked the wrong end, and that's a safe shot over mid-on. Someone with Finch's power, but he's starting to pick what the Sri Lankans are bowling at him now.
You spoke about a set batsman going into the last 10 overs. So at this stage, with about 20 more overs to go, Aaron Finch is in a perfect situation to do that. One of these two, obviously, Labuschagne or Aaron Finch, needs to bat that deep for Australia. Partnership of 41 or 56. 10 of the over. 89 for 2, 20 completed.
That's one thing Aaron Finch said at the end of last game, that they needed someone to be set there, and they need that top order to get that big 100, that big score for the Australians to bat around. And if we have a look at the batting card, Aaron Finch is on 49. Marnus Labuschagne's just starting to get into his innings now, 15 off 22 balls. But the key is these guys going on with it now, taking this game deep. Then you can use the power of Head, Carey, Maxwell at the end of the last 10.
3 4s and a 6 in his innings. It's a controlled innings from Aaron Finch.
One thing Aaron Finch does do, he's got a good conversion rate. He's got 1700s in this form in the game. One thing he does do is he does score them quick. Once he gets in, used to the surface, 49 off 66 balls. The longer he's there, we've seen last over, he's starting to get used to the Sri Lankan spinners. He picked the wrong one, started to place it over the top. All of a sudden, things started to free up a little bit.
Bit of pace from Chamika Karunaratne, replacing Velalage. Marnus on strike. Light pace on the ball, don't they? With the ball coming onto the bat, they've just been knocking the ball into gaps.
It's an impressive spell from Velalage. 1 for 16 off his 6. He controlled the Australian batsman. He used the crease really well. He had subtle changes, the paces with his arms. His pace very did Mitchell Marsh in flight. But he looked a very clever cricketer. He was only young in age, but he looked like he had a lot of control, knew what he was trying to do. But the thing for me is the subtle variations in pace that threw Australia's rhythm out.
On 49. Well, he's got 1700s, as you said. This will be his 30th half century in ODI cricket. His third against Sri Lanka if he gets there. Again, mid-off, mid-on, inside that 30-yard circle. The drone climbing to some unbelievable heights, just showing you the outskirts of the R. Premadasa. In and around this area. The skyline of Colombo. Yeah, that's his 50. His third against Sri Lanka, his 30th in ODI cricket. And as we said, he's got 1700s to go with it. Very good average, over 40. 5,300 runs in his career so far.
Real captain's knock so far here from Aaron Finch. Only a little raise of his bat there today. He realised the importance he has in his role today to take this game really deep. One thing Australians have been missing is someone to go on and get a big 100. We've seen a lot of starts. We've seen some great hitting from Maxwell at the end. Just get someone like Aaron Finch to turn this 50 into a big 100. But pressure right back on the Sri Lanka batsman later in the day.
Sri Lanka has the option of using spinners. They got 5 spinners with part-timers. They got the Asalankas, they got the Dhananjay De Silvas. And that's the newly built motorway of Sri Lanka.
But the key for Australia to play these spinners well is having set batsmen. We see Sri Lanka at their strength and they have a new batsman. That's why it's so important for these two to build a partnership, keep running well between the wickets, because a different game. Once you're set against the spinners, you face a lot of different spin that get used to the surface. That's when you can cash in at the end. That's when Finch's power comes in. We know Marnus plays a spin well. He can sweep, reverse sweep, get off strike. But the key is having set batsmen when they come back for their second spell.
So far they've done well, Australia. 46 of 62. Last ball of the over. Pace of the ball, bowling into the pitch. Karunaratne, only a single. 5 of it, 94 for 2.
Been a good partnership, this one, between Marnus Labuschagne and Aaron Finch. We need to take this a little bit deeper. Some more spin. Dhananjaya De Silva hasn't bowled yet, the off spinner, viewed more as a part-timer in the spin quartet that normally Sri Lanka field. He's got away with that, because that was not a good delivery.
You mentioned the partnership, HD. It's that time of the game where you have to be careful. Not try too many things, not search too much. From Australia's point of view, you're spot on. 48 of 64. Keep chugging along. Sri Lanka will soon feel, or even already, that they need a wicket. When they go searching for that wicket, those mistakes can come your way. It's still a grind, my point of view. Keep pegging away, don't give Australia anything, make them look for it, and hence you'll get that opening. New batsman to follow. There's Travis Head, Alex Carey, Chris Green. Not a lot of experience in these conditions. It will be hard. Cameron Green, correction, not Chris Green. And that's the 50 partnership of 66 balls. And hence things can change fast for you. It's about hanging in there at the moment.
You saw the difficulties in the previous one-day international with batters just walking to the wicket, how difficult it was to adjust to the playing surface.
De Silva was usually used earlier in the innings. The new ball in the power play, but today with Warner getting out and the right-handers following, it's been delayed. Carey, Head, left-handers, but now forced into the attack because the partnership is becoming more assured. 100 on the board, and hence Dasun Shannak has to now try to change things around.
Yeah, the other issue I feel is that the seamers in Chamira and Chamika have only bowled 5 overs between them. 100 for 2. You know, they've only bowled those 5 overs between them. Balalagay's already bowled 6. Vandesay's already bowled 5. Tikshana's already bowled 5. And they've been the real threat. The spin has been the threat. Balalagay's looked very threatening with his left arm spin. Van der Say's got the ball to turn appreciably. Sunshine for now. Heat. Stickier.
Stop it. Don't jinx it. It's nice at the moment.
I'm just looking after myself by saying for now.
The captain won the toss today. Aaron Finch been struggling for form coming into this series.
Not when it comes to the toss.
Yeah. Got 50s in the T20 internationals, but wasn't as fluent as we'd like it. But today it's a lot slower. But it's been controlled. His shots have been measured and very calmly put away.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to dial it back a little bit. You know he's an attacking player, but give yourself a chance. Not all the time can the conditions suit stroke play, and you need to adjust your game, and Finch has done that today.
And just what's required. Only a couple of chances, you'd say, came Sri Lanka's way. He slapped that. That'll be 4. That just set up nicely. Not all the time in the world.
Pulls well. Minus Labuschagne, he's comfortable with that stroke, and the line of the short ball allows him to get the ball forward of square, just past mid-on's right hand. The line is outside off stump.
Call came from square leg. Well, there were a couple of edges earlier on from Van der Say. One fell short of Dhananjaya De Silva, but let's watch him. What does he do? He looks to go right. He looks to go left and then goes right. And then the very next ball, he's looked to go right. And hence, a little slower in getting to that ball, which actually carried.
That's a lot of movement for a slip fielder. He doesn't, slip fielders need to be well balanced. That's neatly played. They need to be in a strong position on the balls at their feet so that they can push off either left or right. But Dhananjaya De Silva actually looks as though he's moving while the ball's in the air. Just gets a fingertip to it.
Yeah, the moment he moves that left leg, the next movement has to be to his right. The left is not his strongest side either. And having to come back from his right foot delays him further. That was the only one that carried as well.
Wow, that's hit hard. That really is hit hard.
That was short, that was wide. So easily put away. This is what I meant. Finch is looking $1 million. It's not the usual Finch who's going around bashing it all over. But look at the positioning. Look at that head. Look at the base. He's quietly finding his form and confidence.
I feel this is what Australia should be looking at. Looking at that scoreboard and... oh, goodness me. That could have gone either way. And bearing in mind the line belongs to the umpire. I say this is what Australia should look at. You go through the bowling lineup and you know that spinners proved to be tough. There is some turn here. Van der Say got quite a lot of turn, the leg spinner. But Shamika, this is only his 3rd over. He's got a long way to go here. Dusmantha Chameera has got 7 overs. So Seam has still got to bowl a lot of overs on the service. Dhananjaya De Silva may take up some of those.
We spoke of the fact that the short ball served Sri Lanka well in Kandy, but that was a different pitch at night. Slightly too paced. Here it just sits up to be slapped. 111 for 2.
From overs 10 to 20, there was spin on. See the drop in run rate with Australia, but they've rebuilt here through Labuschagne and Finch, and the introduction of seam has seen a few runs scored. Still going to be Dhananjaya De Silva, the off spinner. With the turn that we've seen on the pitch, off the pitch, you think Australia will be looking at this thinking, Mitchell Swepson could have given him another game. We've got a whole heap of seamers in our side.
I would have thought so. I would have thought Swepson would get another go. Oh, he's missed out. That was a full toss. Mid-off in the circle, should have really done a lot more. Cameron Green comes in for him. They strengthen the batting. And he'll bowl seam up. Lots of cutters, I'd expect. That has also been effective. And Australia a little bit more comfortable when they can base their attack around the seamers, rather than a lot of spin, spin, spin. That's your default.
Sometimes teams make that error, don't they? They veer off what their strength is when they go to an opposing country and they feel, well, now we need to adjust. And I remember South Africa many years ago sometimes would go in with no spinners and they got a lot of criticism. But their strength was always their seam, and their seam did well on the subcontinent in places like India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and Sri Lanka's point of view, a lot of spin-heavy cricket, and they're very comfortable when one spinner can block off one area, one end, and do the variations or changes from the other. Yeah, a lot of seam in 2006 when Sri Lanka played South Africa. 24 gone, 115 for 2. Yeah, back to spin from both ends. It's Jeffrey Van der Save changing ends, going back to the seam heavy bowlers. You know, my thoughts only go to 2006. I think it was Mahela and Sangha batted a couple of days, Akers. Sri Lanka, South Africa, 6:24, I think.
I'm not sure that one was televised. Don't remember it.
Oh yes, we only like to remember good things, don't we?
Who got those? Was that Mahela and Sangha? Well, they would have had to, because where were you batting? They would have had to get them all.
I was dropped already.
Two very fine players. Yep, go down as greats of the game. Mahela Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara. You're right, we've seen a very different Aaron Finch today. He's been happy to knock it around, and when there has been something loose, he does have the nous to be able to put it away for 4, but understands his team need a big innings from him here. They're nearly halfway, but well placed with the amount of batting that they still have to come. Beautifully bowled, beautifully bowled. Wow. Turn and a handy bit of work from Dickwella.
Superb, simply superb, everything perfect about it. I was trying to lead to the fact that how important it is to continue, but that flight. And Manas couldn't help himself. He needed a piece of it. Perfect in every sense from Van der Sar because of the drift in to the right-hander, the flight, the dip and the turn. 29 to Manas Labuskaiten, 116 for 3.
So it's Alex Carey that comes in at number 5. Still no Cam Green, but what a delivery this was from Jeffrey Van der Sar. Strike rate of 89. Good average of 34. Has played very well domestically. Gets his opportunity in the Australian side. Just settling in. But a beautiful delivery. It really was a good one.
And this is probably why you need a wrist spinner in your team. A wrist spinner is so crucial. He's got more variety. That's massive for Jeffrey Van der Sar because he needs a few wickets and something like this to up his confidence in and out of the team. Only playing today because no one in the Hasaranga, but if he can produce more balls like that, you play both of them. There you go, back to Swepson. Wrist spinner.
Just wrist spinners generally spin the ball more, don't they? Yes, they bowl the odd bad ball because of the difficulty of the art, but they really do get the ball to grip in the surface. And this fella likes to sweep both sides of the ground. Very comfortable. More comfortable, the feeling that he's more comfortable sweeping than he is actually playing up the ground.
As long as he doesn't have to run too much, I think he'll be all right. The second ODI, I just couldn't help ask myself, what are you doing? Where are you running?
No,
such an important part of the game, running between the wickets, and if there's not a lot of trust between the two, we can see awful mix-ups. There's that drift. 25 gone, a successful over for Sri Lanka, 117 for 3. This tour's a big tour for Alex Carey. Australia has jumped around a little bit with their wicket keeping. We know Tim Payne out of the setup now, and Carey gets his opportunity, but there is a Josh Inglis waiting in the wings who has done so well in T20 cricket, and the talk is that he's an exceptionally good gloveman. I feel this is a big tour for Alex Carey. Dhananjaya De Silva gets an opportunity to bowl at the left-handed Carey now. This is Dasan Shanaka was trying to hold him back because he preferred him to bowl to the left-handers.
Interesting position. Kusal Mendis. Oh, he's changing it now. That awkward position to stop him playing the reverse sweep. But he's gone back to a conventional slip now. Talking about the running hackers. Game was in the balance. This happened. Where are you running? Oh dear. That made sure Sri Lanka got themselves on top of that game. Last ball of that over, and hence it didn't make sense why he desperately needed to get back. As the batsman, I thought Take the strike.
It's normally about now where you start making predictions, Russell, around how many are required inside 50 overs.
That's what I was just thinking. It's that time of the game where you should have assessed the conditions right now. Where are you at? Finch is happy to just keep knocking it around, put one away. So he knows exactly what he'll be comfortable with. He's the captain of the Australian team, what his bowlers can do. For me, if I was out there, I'll be looking up and thinking, get this to the 40th over, 4 runs and over, 4.5. That takes you to about 165, 170. Wickets in hand, you look for 70, 80 in the last 10. There's your 250. Things go to plan, you'll have 275. And I think that's a very good score on this pitch.
You know, you've still got the power of Maxwell to come. We've seen the damage that he can do in the first one-day international. Cameron Green he's only played 5 one-day internationals. And Travis Head's played a few, but he's been in and out of the side. Fielded. The captain again, Shanaka, 120 for 3. I'm not sure Travis Head is the man that Australia will be looking at to try and accelerate things dramatically. That will be left to Maxwell. Needed an innings from the captain. They're getting one, but job not done.
Looking at that batting lineup, Head, Maxwell, Green, would it put more weight on Finch that he needs to bat till the end? Because experience in these conditions, it matters a lot. There's adjustments to be made. Different options to score your runs.
It appears to me with the amount of changes that Australia have had to make, and yes, granted, it's been through a number of injuries, but they're still toying with some ideas with that World Cup about a year or so away. 50 over World Cup. You know, and where do people bat? Where, you know, Cameron Green is such a talent, but where does he bat? Mitchell Marsh seems to be someone who they're favouring now to walk in at number 3, but what does that do to if Steve Smith comes back in the side?
Yeah, you're referring to the 50 over World Cup to be played in India, which is similar conditions, yes. Your eyes are everywhere as a selector, as the team management, to the type of players you need to groom, who could fit in the roles, how to balance the team, who do we exactly have and what can they do. The closer target is, of course, the T20 World Cup in Australia, more familiar conditions for Australia, of course.
Yeah, I think I've got a very good idea of what they'll go in with for that World Cup. What a catch, brilliantly caught. There's the turn again from the wrist spinner. And a wonderful catch.
Oh, they loved it. They loved every bit of it. Hear the roar. Van der Sey. That was a lot slower. The face of the bat turned a little too early from Finch's point of view. Big blow for Australia as Finch goes for 62. 121 for 4.
Travis Head. So now 2 left-handers at the crease for Australia and 2 new men. Alex Carey only faced 7 balls so far. That is a big, big wicket, and it just tilts the balance of the match in the favour of the home team.
Told you so. If you're not careful, this game will change very fast. But beautifully bowled by Van der Sar again. It lobbed slightly. Dhananjay De Silva, it's hard for him to spot because he's blocked by Finch's body. The slight opportunity, or that extra opportunity he had, was because that lobbed rather than speed off. But he did really well to get to it. I was talking how important Finch was going to be. He enjoyed that. One went down earlier. Look how quickly that goes. Dhananjay De Silva, as you rightly noted, a bit of movement, but less movement in his position here though.
Another very fine over by the leg spinner, 122 for 4. What was noticeable there was the pace that Van der Sar is bowling. He's bowling the ball at a more traditional leg spinner's pace, isn't he? We saw Mitchell Swepson in the previous one-day international bowling very flat and fast.
Starts for everyone. You have to work very, very hard for your runs. It's the type of pitch, once again, you're never in, because you've got to be precise in your movements and scoring options right through.
And you mentioned him being unsighted, Dhananjay De Silva, and I think that's the critical thing, because the ball does look as though it's going to get worked away on the leg side. It's a thick outside edge. That's a good catch. That is a good catch. Yes, it didn't go very quickly, but for just a brief moment he would have seen very little.
Really happy for Jeffrey Van der Sar. I heard Roshan make the point that he's not got continuity, not been able to be in the team, and you need some luck. These 2 dismissals should give him that belief that he can produce some good deliveries and search for more of those.
I'm always waiting when you compliment someone, and I'm always waiting for you to say that he went to your school.
Oh, they're getting to you, are they? They are, huh? The school rivalry is massive. It's our identity, hackers, just like in South Africa for you boys. Wonderful banter.
No, it's clear to see it. It's clear to see how proud Sri Lankans are with their education and where they were schooled, and it's highlighted here within the commentary box daily.
You'll see a lot of it because we are now in Colombo and you will be visiting the best school around. A lot of hard work for Australia to do now. They have to rebuild. They've got to make sure that the runs don't dry up either.
It's not easy going. It's going to take some hard work here for Australia to post something. 126 for 4.
126 for 4. Jeffrey Van der Sar has been very good so far. 2 for 32 into his 8th over. 2 important wickets for the leg spinner. Well, Australia got to restart again. Carey on 8. Head on 3. All the hard work for the 3rd wicket pair undone. Carey generally enjoys the spinners, isn't it, Mahavir? He plays the sweep, the reverse, but it is head that has really looked a bit vulnerable against spin. Even in Pallekele struggled, eventually holding out in the deep. Sri Lanka bowling to him with a leg slip. But to his credit, what he's done well is that he's knocked the ball into gaps. Not tried to be extravagant, but just kept working the ball into gaps and stealing singles.
Yeah, very important to get him in the front foot. It's very comfortable. Like we said, the back foot, trying to nudge it towards the square leg through his hips. Probably Carey looks very close, very close. Oh, he turned it. Probably the bounce, maybe pat. Not too sure, but that's a fantastic delivery by Van der Sar. Giving it a real rip into his 8th over. Handful today. Couple of wickets. And Alex Carey, as you mentioned, very unorthodox. Very hard to bowl at. Reverse sweeps, slog sweeps, paddle sweeps, everything he's very good at. As he spoke, it's a reverse sweep. And then this good captain by Dasun Shanaka, getting the sweeper cover. Very, very fine. 2 deliveries before. Was hitting the pad by Van der Sar. Yeah, bat. Clearly inside it. It's a good decision by umpire Dharmasena.
Last ball of the over. 5 runs so far. Oh, throw him. Throw him. And through the keeper as well. No reward for a good delivery. It ends with a boundary. Buys 9 of the over. 135 for 4.
Absolutely peach by Van der Sar. Curving away from the left hander, turning back in. The bounce, the turn. Overdoing Digwell as well. Generally very good behind the stumps. The speed off the pitch. Just bulleted away. And that young man had no choice. His belief everywhere. No bat in ball correctly. How important those runs going to be, only the time will tell.
Ten to Carey, 4 to Head. Finch at a start. Labuschagne 29. But the rest haven't really managed to break free. Not that Finch broke free either. It was a workman-like innings. Took a lot of time, 62 over 85. The spinners bowled well to him. So Sri Lanka continuing with spin, which is the right thing to do here. Charmika Karunaratne went for 27 in 3 overs. And De Silva just slowing it up a bit. This is what Alex Carey does. Look at where he's scoring those runs, Maha.
The predominantly score of the pitch, isn't it? Shows wrist, subtle wrist. When he wants to go big, he's very good at slog sweep as well. Nothing in the front means that Sri Lankan bowlers have been either short or maybe too full. Or Carey just believed in these sweep shots, especially up in Pallekele. He was very effective. Down the ground as we spoke, just about said it, and that was a huge 6. Right over the bowler's arm. Beautiful shot.
I wonder whether you heard what Digwell said from behind the stumps. He just said, watch, he might go after this ball. He said, Nangahai. And that's exactly what Carey did. Great thinking by the wicketkeeper. Just called it so perfectly, didn't he?
Instincts, and that was the first 6 of this innings of Australia. Much slower. Reaching that eye level as a batsman. Attempted to go down the ground, and Carey, what a wonderful shot.
Who is the call? And they'll get 2 quite easily. They've got 8 of 5 deliveries, including that 6. The rate of scoring has, with the spinners on, have been under 5, 4.79. Still quite decent, considering that it is not the easiest surface to bat on. 30 overs gone, 143 for 4.
Good over Australia, 8 runs coming off it. Alex Carey and Travis Head, the two recognised batsmen still to come. The finisher, Maxwell, at 7, and Cameron Green, someone that did watch him recently in the Sri Lanka Australia A series, where he scored 100 at Singley Sports Club, batting at probably number 4. Could tonk the ball and a very good batting all-rounder. Projected scores, if Australia scores 6 runs per over, 263, which I think is a very good score under the conditions.
Right, Sri Lanka needs to find 20 overs. As far as the spin bowling options, it's going to be Theekshana coming on. They got 16 overs left from the bowlers, spin bowlers that we've seen in action. Theekshana has 5 overs left. Vilalage has 4. Van der Sar 2. Dhananjay has 5 overs left, so that's 16. Chamira is an option to bowl at the death. Of course, they can bring in Charita Solanki if they want to. So Theekshana will continue. But obviously Sri Lanka's dependency will be on spin on this surface, with a slip in and a man on the drive at short extra cover. Just rushing through, hurrying through. Mahesh Theekshana. That was fired in quite quickly. The angle bringing it back.
Speed off the pitch will be different to Dhananjay De Silva or Van der Sar. It's going to be much quicker, Theekshana, much quicker of the air as well as of the pitch. As a batsman, you need to do that adjustment, which Travis said failed to do that.
That time, very different, isn't it? The previous one just rushed through, that one just got stuck in the pitch. So that's the variation the batsman will be conscious of. So that's why Sri Lanka will want to have them at a manageable score. Now, what is manageable is the question. Now, the current rate 237. Well, this was always interesting. This was always interesting. They didn't go upstairs. Let's take a look. This is what they didn't go upstairs for. It was hitting. They were thinking about the review, but they didn't take it.
Mahesh Theekshana, saw him, was very, very keen to go upstairs. Just had the feeling Roshan Dikpella from behind wasn't that keen. He thought, Dikpella thought there was inside edge before, but evidently it was pad first. Oh, a big lose that's going to be. Off the page, first delivery, Dasun Shanaka. He will only can trust what the bowler or the wicketkeeper tells him. Sometimes those other little moments could be the change.
Yeah, those could be critical moments of the game. Will go down as a missed opportunity for Sri Lanka. Last ball of the over. On the pads, just drifting with the angle. 3 off the over, 146 for 4.
Would have had the 5th there. Sri Lanka missed out. Clearly showing his disappointment, Mahesh Theekshana. Batting for so far, Alex Carey and Travis Head. He's trying to do a repairing job, trying to get at least probably the 40th over, 4 runs per over. Get them close to something close to 180. And the final 10 overs, if Maxwell's in and Cameron Green gets in, can do the damage.
$146 for 4. Interesting move, bringing Chamira back. We've been talking about how much spin has played a role in this innings. Dasun Shanak opting for his quickest bowler. Chamira has 1 for 17 in 3. What are your thoughts on this change? Dhananjay De Silva has bowled 5 overs for 25. But pace has been something that the Australian batsmen have enjoyed more than spin.
I reckon Dasun Shanak is trying to change the pace of the game by bringing in a quick bowler. Not a bad idea. I think length's going to be the key. You said it correctly, Roshan. Australians love the pace of the ball, but very importantly, I think Dushman Shamira should be not trying too many things, because he's coming just a couple of overs, maximum 3 overs if a wicket goes. Just change the pace of the game, get the spinners back on. Mid on, mid off, up, deep fine leg, deep square leg, a sweeper cover and a square leg.
Straight to the man at extra cover. Well, have a look at that LBW shout. That wasn't reviewed. He was on the back foot. It hurried on to him from outside the off stump. And Dasun Shanaka sees it. He's already seen that. And I think, I'm not sure whether Tikshana has seen that replay on the big screen, but I certainly felt that Dasun Shanaka saw it. But through mid-wicket. Couple of runs. I still feel that Sri Lanka should have continued with a bit more spin. A few more overs into the innings. Because we do know that Head generally enjoys pace on the ball. Doesn't as much when the spinners are on. It was visible in Kandy.
Tommy said definitely loves the pace on the ball. Did open the batting for Sri Lanka A and Australia A series. Scored a couple of big scores as well. Change of angle this time by Shamira coming round the wicket. I think that's a good move. Just pulling outside the off stump, fourth arm corridor. Let's go. I think that's where the length's going to be. Fuller, not that fuller on the up. It's going to be hard to drive on the up. We saw that with Mitchell Marsh dismissal.
Yeah, unless you bowl that length. Because both Head and Carey, they're very good at deflecting the ball. You empty seats, but I thought it's a full house. Should have a few more people coming in. But on a Sunday, I would have thought they'll be here for the start. But still a very good crowd in. Crowds have been brilliant. Kandy was simply magnificent. Not that Colombo was bad. The first 2 games were sold out as well. Punch down the ground. Intercepted at mid-on. Again, pace on the ball. Just allows him to ease it through.
A nice stroke by Head, Travis said. Always a batsman who drives down the line. Very nice to watch. The crowd has been brilliant. I think that's been the 12th man for Sri Lanka, especially up in Palakkale. It's going to be interesting to see, as you said, if we have more crowds coming in. Right, late evening, so passion. And first series where after COVID you can have full houses.
Straight to the man at cover. So far Chamira has been good. He's gone a full length with both the left-handers. And bowled a tight off some line. You got a substitute, Ashen Bandara. He is a brilliant fielder, isn't he? The substitute, he is a wonderful fielder. One of the quickest that I've seen from the Sri Lankan camp. He's on for Van der Sar. Remember him fielding in a test match as a schoolboy. That was at Gaul. Short delivery. The 150's up with a single off the last ball. 150 for 4.
More than 140 kilometers per hour. The entire over. Bowled by Dushmantha Chamira. Real impressive. The crowd's been building up. Lots of passion, lots of support. First series, as I mentioned, after COVID. Love to have the full house. Australia going steadily, 150 before out of 32. We mentioned about 4 runs per over for the next 8 overs. That will get them to 180. And from there, if Maxwell is in, anything's up on the cards.
Yeah, Sri Lanka's plan is pretty straightforward, isn't it? I mean, these are the projected scores. 234 at the current rate, 258 at 8 and over. That will be huge on this surface. Oh, we've got some Australian support too, and that is wonderful to see. Deekshana continues. Yes, Sri Lanka will be mindful of what you just said and what Maxwell could do. Well, there you are. They are responsible for some wonderful pictures. Square of the wicket. So Sri Lanka will have to just make sure that they just keep knocking at this Australian batting. At the moment, a partnership of 30 of 34, as you said, is Green and Maxwell to come in, which is always a threat.
It's simple for Sri Lanka, pick up wickets and stay in the game. Best way to put the runs on the board is that, and this is the comparison of this ball of speed. Deekshana generally is a lot faster, even with his off-cutter. He bowls it very quickly, and Dhananjay Silva, the slowest as expected. Oh, inside it this time. It hanged up the pitch. Oh, spinner by Mahesh Deekshana, almost chopping on there, Travis said.
Just a bit of turn and bounce. Didn't arrive for Travis Head, taking pace off the ball. Didn't actually bounce that much, but definitely turn. So far, he's got 4 dot balls through, just a single in the over.
And this is good stuff by Mahesh Deekshana, building up the pressure. Just the 1 run in the first ball. The 4 spinners have been different. That's a challenge Australian batsmen have been having. 4 different spinners, 4 different spade. It's going to be tough and much straighter. That's much better by Mahesh Deekshana, just giving away 1 run to end the 33rd. Australia 151 for 4.
To being a united supercar nation once more. He just lost it. He's run it wide, and this is a monster. Not hit another vehicle. That is a miracle. Stop.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Right there. Nothing beats my weekly massage. And nothing beats Pikey and the last today. I feel good. Thank you, ladies.
Why the big Aristotle?
Because I'm big and I'm a philosophizer.
Oh.
Is that a word?
Yes, it is.
PointsBet. Stay in control. Leave before you lose it. Gamble responsibly.
When every day's a big day, you want to protect every unmissable moment. Support your immune health daily with Blackmore's high-potency vitamin C range, Bio-C.
I was always the one who took the photos. I never wanted to. I just didn't want to see my hair in photos. But then Mum was like, oh, we've got no photos of you.
Make today your turning point, and the doctors at Ashley and Martin could help regrow your hair.
Formulated for the Australian conditions, Amplified premium fuels are engineered to maximise the performance of your engine. Ampol, Australia's own.
Slicing off the outside edge. Running the first run hard. Quite an easy two. Again, using the pace. So what Australia have tried to do is they've looked to play square of the wicket rather than really go down the ground using the pace. Just opening the face, deflections, just like what Head did that outside the off stump. Just a little guide down to third man.
Head, when it comes to the front foot stroke, doesn't move the feet that much. It's a hand-eye player mostly. Change of the angle again by Chameera, coming over the wicket. Yeah, trying to bowl the bouncer with the two fielders.
Just a bit of bounce, extra bounce. Just a bit too close to him. Just was looking to run it down to third man. Just too close to play that shot.
And a cross seamer. That's what Chameera does very well. Was not meant to be a bouncer, sort of a skid-on delivery. And much shorter than the previous ones delivered by Dushmantha Chameera. When Chameera changed the angle, had the sense that he was trying to go that way. Again, coming back around the wicket now.
Pace of the ball. Only a single. Sri Lanka controlling things at this stage. Not really let Australia break free. Australia just looking to try and get into a position. Get into a stable position. Have a good foundation, as you said. Just letting or building an opportunity for the likes of Maxwell whenever he comes in.
These two batters are taking the game deeper. They understand the role, especially Alex Carey. It would be very interesting how he's going to play when the spinners come, especially after the 40th over. It won't be easy for Dasun to set a field to Carey, especially. On the leg side, close call here, Mahesh Theekshana, direct hit. Oh, direct hit, always a very close call, but Mahesh Theekshana at that time missed an opportunity. We'll come back to have a look at that. The end of the 34th, drinks break. Australia 156 for 4.
Something's coming.
Something big.
Before you see the new film, watch the entire collection on demand, including a special look at the greatest moments.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Well, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
Watch on demand.
Not everything's black and white. You gotta use your imagination.
You propose?
Yes.
You propose to him. Can you do that? Let there be carnage.
Bring the cinema experience home. Lose yourself in a world of movies. Foxtel Movies. Watch on demand.
It was Monday. I turned on Fox Footy. It was teeing off.
The AFL got it back down.
I was hooked. All in. Eat, sleep, footy, repeat. Eat, sleep, footy, repeat. I just couldn't get enough. Gary, Brownie, Robbo, Kath, Chief, Rui and Bucks. It was free-flowing. It was wild. It was awesome. Footy's most legendary team. All week long. Eat, sleep, footy, repeat.
Together. Sri Lanka, a wonderful destination, and contemplating a visit. Some lovely waterfalls and beautiful hills and magnificent scenery. And the tea gardens and the rock, the Sigiriya. Sri Lanka can, and I repeat, Sri Lanka will. They will, for sure, visit Sri Lanka, and that's exactly everyone's hope, everyone's wish, and everyone's request. And if you're thinking about it, I don't think you need to think twice.
Definitely we can. This is the 4-wicket. Dushmantha Chamira getting rid of David Vaughan with a short delivery. Good catch by Mahesh Dikshan at fine leg. Mitchell Marsh trying to go over the top of extra cover, playing on the up. And this was a fantastic delivery by Van der Sar. Well kept as well by Niroshan Dikwala. This was a superb catch by Dhananjay Silla. One-hander. Van der Sar is in a great game so far.
Dikshana will continue. 2 men on the leg side. Square leg and deep mid wicket. 2 saving, 1 slip in. Point and long off out as well. Push and run. That has been the plan. That has been what Australia's strategy against the spinners. Just making sure that they rotated the strike. They've not allowed too many dot balls to their credit.
Good cricket all round. Good single. Good fielding there as well by skipper Dasun. This is what Australians need. Keep those singles plugging away, and then when opportunity arises to get that boundary, keep the pressure on the Sri Lankan bowlers.
Taking pace off the ball, Mahesh Dikshana realizes that there is something for him on the surface. His average speed is over 90, but that one slowed down by his standards, that is. The high 80s, but getting something off the surface.
Off spinner, what Mahesh Dikshan delivers every time is going to be under 90, Roshan. When he flicks the ball, that's going to be over 90 every time, because skidding on, off the pitch, as well as from the wrist, so it comes out very quickly. That's why the maturity being shown by young Mahesh Dikshan. Have been playing a lot of white ball cricket. I think his every day is improving.
Turn and bounce, turn and bounce. Now that was over 90, but he pushed it a bit quicker. They have gone upstairs. They're asking for it. That's interesting.
TV umpire to director. We have a player review for caught behind. Original decision is not out. It's a fair delivery. Give me the front on spin decision, please. Can I have the ultra edge, please? Waiting for ultra edge, Kumar. Keep it rolling through, keep it rolling through, keep it rolling through, keep it rolling through. Yes, satisfied. Flat line as the ball passes the bat and gap between bat and the ball. Go back to on-field umpire Kumar, please. Kumar, you can stay with the original not out decision. You're on camera.
Well, look at the reaction of the wicketkeeper. He was not at all enthusiastic. He was not going upstairs at all. I think it was Mahesh Dikshana who thought that there was something in it. Charmika Karunaratne, such an excitable character.
That was bat hit in the pack. That's what I think Dasun Shanaka went upstairs. And as you said, Niroshan Dikwala, usually the wicket keepers do see it pretty well every time. That time, for once, he was quiet, not doing Dikwala's things. Yeah, shot this time by Mahesh Dikshana, hammered towards a sweeper. Missed out by Alex Carey. End of the 35th, Australia 159 for 4.
just what Australia needed. Another partnership. It's 38 or 50. It doesn't seem like it's been going at a rate, but it's setting the innings up for that final push from here. 15 overs to go. 260 is a possibility. And that would be a good score for Australia to try and put pressure on Sri Lanka. What I like to highlight in this partnership as well, it's going at around 4.5. No fours. Just the 1-6 to Alex Carey. So you still can score runs if you're willing to work it around and find ways to score.
Good evening, Russ. I think Australia will reassess their target. They can get around 250, 260. Feel on this wicket it's a winning target.
Oh, that was quick. He had nowhere to go. Carey. Dushmantha Chameera charging in. Look, Glenn Maxwell to come. If these two can get to the 40th, that whole equation changes.
Australia have still got a lot of batting depth. They've gone in and batter heavy this game. Cameron Green's come into the team. We know how good a form Maxwell's in. But this is a good matchup here for Travis Head. He enjoys the ball coming onto the ball. He's found it a bit tough in the last couple of games to rotate the strike, the spin, but he does play the fast bowl as well.
Did you see that? Dharmasena just couldn't help himself, almost. He reminded himself in the nick of time he's not supposed to catch it. Just have a look. They're having a laugh, the boys.
Would that have been 5 runs to Australia?
You probably needed to be given 50 for that. Oh, Mr. Jayasuriya is here. Bit of modelling for the young man. New career, I don't know, I'm not sure. Nice early call.
So you had a bit of fun on Instagram with Jayasuriya with the Maltesers?
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, we related a bit of life to a Malteser. And if you take out who's playing who, being a bat first man, I'd say this is a good position to launch yourself from. Sri Lanka, to control this, have to be very, very careful in how they go about it and how the bowlers are used from now on.
These two putting a good partnership together, 42 off 55 balls. But one thing we've seen a trend through the series, and Sri Lanka done a really good job with the ball, is just when Australia looked like they're about to launch, Sri Lanka take a wicket and the batsmen have to start again. It's really important with these two. Enjoy batting together, both from South Australia, that they're there with 5-6 overs to go, so that gives themselves an opportunity to set that platform and capitalise the back end of this game.
Four singles off the 36th. Australia 163 for 4. Just the 6 bowlers used. Velalage has 4 overs. Vandese 2. Theekshana 2. Travis Head taking his time. What do you think is going on in his head?
Travis Head is a naturally aggressive player. He does play the fast bowl as well. But what he has just found a new role in this Australian team the last couple of games in the middle order. And in the last game he played, he was 14 off 27 balls from the spin, and today he's 18 balls for 7 runs. What we need to see is he needs to find a way to get off strike, keep that scoreboard ticking so the pressure doesn't build, and also then doesn't build on his partner. We know how aggressive he is to the fast bowling, but just to the spin, he just needs to work on rotating the strike.
That's in the bigger picture of things. But in this particular instance, in this partnership, how critical will you be of him? Because at the end of the day, they've got some runs together. They're now looking okay. Once again, 2 quick wickets. Maxwell telling you 250, 260 still on the cards, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. These two are starting to build nicely. They're getting used to the pace of the wicket. We've seen one attacking shot for Carey down the ground for 6, but it's important that they're there in the last 10 overs so they can capitalise on what they've done now. You don't want anyone starting their innings and having to rebuild again. They're used to the pace of the wicket. Just like to see Travis had a bit more, maybe use the crease, not always have to go forward, but use the crease deep, use his hips, get off strike, push it to the cover or mid-wicket, just to rotate that strike so that the pressure doesn't feel like it builds on him all the time.
Oh dear. He hit that hard, Dustin Shanaka. Outstretched hand, just couldn't hold it in.
Great effort there by Shanaka. We've seen that in the second ODI. Took a wonderful catch at short cover. That one there, he leapt well. He got his right hand up. It just couldn't stick. Just couldn't get enough on it to pop it up, give himself a second chance. But great effort there.
He saved the goal, but didn't take the catch. You made a very valid point. Yes, got to bat deep. Now you can afford to take a few balls to consolidate, get used to the conditions, but then you have to capitalize, otherwise it leaves your team in a hole.
Yeah, the big thing for the Australians is having set batsmen, as was said in the last 10 overs, so they got momentum going into that last part of the game.
.168 for 4.
And that to me is the important thing, to have those batters set. We know Maxwell can play a destructive role at the end. He's a batsman that come out and put pressure straight away. But it's up to the batters that are in to take the game nice and deep. We've seen Aaron Finch and Marnus Labuschagne, 69 partnership. These two now are starting to build nicely. But what we need is them to take the game deeper, put on a really big partnership and get us straight to that total between 250 and 270, where I think is a winning total.
Nice, pleasant evening here in Colombo, and it's building up to be a wonderful game. Australia putting a decent score, a good score, to compete and try and take the lead in this 5-match series. Chamika Karunaratne, change of ends. Man of the match in Candy. But he's taken a bit of stick here.
Travis Head will fancy this matchup, where you'd imagine he'd look to accelerate his scoring. He does like the ball coming on.
He bowled lots of slow balls, but the length that really worked for him in Candy was the short one. Not sure too much of that is going to work here because the conditions are different.
I think also what worked was his mindset. He looked to take wickets all the time. Yes, he used the short ball well, but he also hit that back of a length hard, and he was always in the game. He bowled with a lot of energy, whether it was a short ball or his slower ball. He wanted to get wickets. He wanted to make a difference in the game.
Fast bowlers in, there's width on offer. Now those are opportunities to score. Heads inviting pressure by not being able to get it into the gaps. Now is he the type of batsman who'll panic?
I think that's good bowling. Yeah, he's taken pace off both those balls and gone wide, where you've got a deep point and Travis Head can't use the pace of the ball to score. He's looking for a ball pitched up with pace on to hit down the ground. So smart bowling there from Sri Lankans.
Good day for you this morning out here in Colombo. The Canberra Raiders sneaking in a tight win.
I'm not sure the crowd will understand that, but it was a pretty safe win by Canberra Raiders. We had it under control for the last 40 seconds.
Well, there are a lot of people who know about that. Yes, in this part of the world, few less, but the West Tigers need a giddy up. Oh dear, oh dear. 2 overs after this with the bowling or the fielding restrictions. Let's have a look at his pitch map here, Chamika Karunaratne. 3 overs for 27. This over's been a lot tighter. The boundaries in yellow, so he's either been too full or when he's been too full, Australia have piled into him. So that's the length you're talking about, that Head's waiting for. He's spread out quite a bit, trying to bowl a lot of variations, be unpredictable, Chamika Karunaratne. Partnership 49, and that makes it 50 balls without a boundary. In this partnership, it's been only 1-6.
A couple of things contribute to that. One, the tight bowling from Sri Lankan spinners. We've seen Thikshana bowl his 9 overs without being hit for a 4 or a 6. So he's built some beautiful pressure. And also, off the back of that, Australia had to rebuild. They lost a couple of wickets in a row with Finch and Marnus. And these two have played an important role now to put on 49, build this partnership.
Hammers that. That spoils the over. Pace on it. And Travis Head gets a boundary. That's the 50 partnership too. 174 for 4.
This is Travis Head's strength. Try to bang the ball in. He watched that nice and close. He plays well square of the wicket. He likes the ball coming onto his bat. It's an important boundary there for Australia.
Last ball of the over. He gives Head the pace he was waiting for. Great vibes, great atmosphere here at the R. Premadasa Stadium, and it's been fascinating to see how the Sri Lankans have enjoyed it. The team also, you've got to say, playing a lot better than they've done in the last couple of years. And that's been refreshing too. Just taking the minds off their worries for the Sri Lankan people, and the cricket vibe, the Aussies being here, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and I think one thing too, that the Sri Lankan team's just learning. They're a young up-and-coming team. They're trying to understand their style. We've seen Thikshana bowl outstanding in this spell. He's had his 9 overs for 28, no boundaries. He's kept the pressure on. The crowd's responded to that. It's a great contest here.
Front of square, so there'll be plenty of runs. 4 of them, in fact.
The back-to-back boundaries there from Australia. Travis Head. Oh, sorry, Alex Carey with the reverse sweep. He does play that shot with a lot of confidence. Taken 9.1 overs for Thikshana to go for his first boundary. There's a big risk, though. Alex Carey across the line of that. He does play that reverse sweep well. Wouldn't be too disappointed with that shot, though, Thikshana.
And that's why that sweeper was very fine, because of that reverse sweep. It was a slight miss hit. Work for Carey this time. Now the area Sri Lanka, of course, need to improve is using their DRS.
I think that's a common trait around the world from an Australian. I don't think I should be talking too much about our recent DRS success.
Watch his eyes. Watch his position. He's down on one knee. He's stable. And that allows you to execute that shot a lot better. A mouthful for Pathum Nissanka in the deep. The only chance his partnerships given them was also that opportunity where they could have reviewed delivery of Mahesh Theekshana. He's got 3 balls remaining in his spell. He likes that. Yep, there you go. Pretty sure his birthday's around the corner, and I know what I'll be getting for Sanath Jayasuriya. A pair of shoes.
He must be good company there because everyone around him is on his phone.
No, he's gonna come at me. Thank you very much for that, Hads. Very good batting. They'll come back for 2. Top stuff from the Australians. 8 and over. From here on, you're looking at 270. That's what partnerships do for you. When you work hard in those middle overs, you can still score runs. It's different challenges. When you say it turns, it's slow, it's not bad conditions. It's different options, a different ball game. 39 bowled, 183 for 4. So Theekshana's bowled out, none for 37. Great colours, great vibes, as I did mention. Good place to watch cricket. Poor.
Just seeing some shots of the crowd and the colour in the crowd, Russ. What has been amazing is over the 2020 series and the one-day series, we've had full crowds, smile on everyone's faces. They've really got behind the Sri Lankan cricket team and the Australian cricket team. They've appreciated the cricket they're playing. But the one thing they do is get behind their home team, and when momentum's on their side, it's hard to hear out there. They understand good cricket, and Sri Lanka does grow a leg when they get a few wickets and the crowd gets involved in the game.
A lot of travelling Aussies, I must tell you. And I'm told in the next couple of weeks, got 2 more ODIs to be played here in Colombo, and then the test match in Galle. There are more making the trip over, which is fabulous stuff.
And big Merv Hughes, he'll add some colour to the crowd. He's got a tour group on the way over.
Top edge, no one in the deep. 4 to Carey. Now the runs are starting to flow.
Yeah, that's another boundary there to Alex Carey. It's very comfortable playing the sweep shot. This time a little top edge, but he knew he just had to get that over the head of the 45. The vacant real estate, couple of bounces and a much needed boundary to Australia. Just starting to get a bit of rhythm now into this partnership. Important that they continue and don't lose a wicket here, Australia.
Oh, you don't need that. You don't need that. Up to now, he's been playing some wonderful options. You were right with that sweep shot, that the way he used his wrist meant that it was intentional, but had it under control. It's the time where you cash in.
He just had a little word from his South Australian teammate Travis Head. All the hard work these two to get some momentum back in Australia's innings. Now's the time they cash in. We've seen it too often in the series. Once the batsman got in, we've got out in the important times, but these two are set now. They got used to the pace of the wicket. It's up to them now to get Australia to a total around 250 or 260.
5:20 in the evening, the lights taking effect. And you've got to still use smart options, just like he did there. The loose balls present themselves. And you take the game away from the bowlers. This is actually the highest partnership in the series for Australia. It's 72 of 79. They've got 10 off this over. And Carey's quietly got himself to 49 of 51.
Last 3 overs, we've seen 4 boundaries. Starting to get used to conditions. And pressure back now on the Sri Lankan bowlers.
Is that straight? They're asked for it. Umpire Hannibal says yes. Carey does the right thing. He's got to take his chances here.
Big review this.
For LBW. Original decision is out and it's a fair delivery. Start with the front on spin intensity. Bowlers close to the bat. Can I have the ultra to check whether any bat involved there, please?
Close to the gloves, heads.
Waiting for ultra. Yeah, ready? Still waiting.
It's a big moment in the game here for both teams. This is the last ball of the field restrictions.
Keep it rolling through, keep it rolling through, keep it rolling through. Ball is going under the bat. Keep it rolling through. Keep it rolling through. Pass to the gloves, please. Yes, satisfied. Bat line as the ball pass up the bat. No bat involved. Ball tracker when it is ready, please. Ball tracking is coming. Hitting outside of impact in line. Wicket hitting. You can stay with your original out decision. I will let you know when you are on camera window.
We all know the decision.
You are on camera. Make your signal. Thank you.
You could hear it. The crowd knew it. Carey on 49. He's batted beautifully, but the wrong time for Australia to lose their 5th. 49 of 52. It's 193 for 5. Super Sunday it is. The crowd singing along. But Australia losing a wicket just at the wrong time, but they wouldn't mind. Who's coming in to bat? 10 overs to go. The umpire signalling the start of the 3rd power play, so 5 fielders will be allowed outside the circle.
This is the man everyone's come to see. Look at that strike rate. He's rolling this Australian team. Used to close out the game, take the game right to the end. Just look at this one, misjudged here by Alex Carey. It was plumb, he knew it. He was on the way off. Disappointing as it is, what it does bring is Glenn Maxwell to the crease. And how exciting he can be this stage of the innings.
Wellalage. Straight back into the attack. He's got 4 overs. Now Head's got to change his game because Maxwell's new. You just don't want to be going into a shell, eating through those overs. Sri Lanka will know they need another wicket here.
Well, Travis Head's now the senior partner. He's faced 37 balls. His job's to continue to get off strike. Keep the momentum in this innings.
Top edge in space.
We know how aggressive Glenn Maxwell can be and how well he plays these conditions, but Travis Head's job's not to build too many dot balls. Keep working the strike. And he got down early. Just bounced a little bit more than he would have liked. In the end, just lucky to clear that 45. It's exciting time every time Glenn Maxwell comes to the crease. You can see the crowd lift. They know how important this wicket is for Sri Lanka.
Now, in terms of the field, I would have liked to see a slip in for Glenn Maxwell. Wellalage is bowling really well. Batsmen have taken time to settle in. It's a moment. It's an opportunity to seize, but Dasun Shanaka, just the 4 in the circle. 2 on the drive, though. I like this boy, Wellalage. He's brave. Sri Lanka's under-19 captain at the World Cup in January. Slices it, got him! Oh, he's dropped it. Dhananjay De Silva held on for a second. Dasun Shanaka's plan almost working. Was a good effort, needed to stick.
Yeah, that was a big moment in the game. He drew Glenn Maxwell in with the flight. He tried to give himself a little bit of room. The ball just did enough. It's a great effort there. De Silva, but just couldn't hold it. It's a big, big moment in this match. Can Glenn Maxwell make the Sri Lankans pay?
Edge again. Well, he knows what he wants. He wants runs. He wants to put the bowler under pressure, but these 2 deliveries will also make him think. 41 gone, 198 for 5. Dhananjay De Silva made all the ground, got to it.
fantastic shot. This time, innovation. Don't think much Chamika Karunaratne did wrong. That's just how destructive this man could be. 9 line, and look at that for the stroke. Wow. Just wow. Just lost for words.
It's only 27 runs he's contributed, but it's just 12 balls that he's faced, and he's pushed Australia into a position where there's already something that can be defended. The question will be, Chamika Karunaratne's going at over 10s to the over. He's going at over 10s to the over. Dasun Shanaka bowled 1 over and went for over 10. Dusmantha Chameera will not finish his 10 overs now because he's bowled 6 and he's gone at 5 to the over. There'll be a lot of thought. There's no doubt about it that Dasun Shanaka would have given this a lot of thought, but there will be some questions around about who he's chosen to bowl here at the back end. This man did the job for him the other night, so you can understand why he's backed him again. It should just be one. Maxwell's desperate to keep the strike and he wants it. Tight throw, safely home.
A good run in there, Maxwell. In the start, he was showing that hunger for the come for the second run. Not a strong throw from sweeper cover. Looks like Pathum Nissanka. And this is good intensity. And Travis said was not sure, but Maxwell, he was pretty clear. He won the strike back. Just not quick enough. And it's a crime as far as I'm concerned to have your premier bowler not bowling his 10 overs. Even though Dusmantha Chameera will bowl the next over, he's only going to finish up with 9 overs. I reckon Dasun Shanaka has missed a trick there.
He gave himself room onto the offside, and even though that might have drifted just ever so slightly down the leg, it's not called wide.
Lucky there, Chamika Karunaratne. Any bat with fine leg up, that's going to be a 4 or a 6. Anticipated well by Maxwell. He knew what was coming. Yeah, they want a wicket. Sri Lanka wants a wicket, but Maxwell's show at the moment.
Nicks the strike, wants the strike. Smart batting by Maxwell. Good over for Australia. 13 from it. 229 for 5.
A very good over, Australia. This man is on fire. Putting the bowler under pressure. The first delivery went for a 6. Ever since then, Chamika Karunaratne was chasing the game. 229 for 5. 6 more overs. 8 runs for over. That's 48. That will take Australia close to 275, which I think is going to be a competitive score. Plenty of options as far as Sri Lanka concerned, but I think it has to be Dusmantha Chameera finish up for sure.
So just 6 overs remain. So that's 3 from each end. Vilalaga's got 2. Van der Saa's got 2. So therefore, one of them will only finish with 9 overs rather than the lot of 10. And it's Tikshana bowled 10 overs north for 37, under 4 to the over. Vilalaga's under 4 to the over. Van der Saa just over 4 to the over. The man who bowled the previous over is just going at under 10s. Food for thought.
Right, fast in your seatbelt time now. Van der Saa against Maxwell. I reckon this over is going to be.
Not going to be a draw. Over extra cover he goes. He hasn't got all of it. There's work to be done in the deep. They should scamper through for 3. And then Travis Head's job will be to get Maxwell back on strike.
Clever batting, very clever batting. There was no sweeper cover. The sweeper cover who's there, Chamika Karunaratne, is very fine. That is for the slog sweep, beg your pardon, the reverse sweep. But this time, it was a huge gap and bisected that. It's just not about slogging. It's about very clever batting. Intelligent batting, I should say.
That reverse sweep creates havoc with the bowlers in the field, is that the field places that they want to have. There it is, single. So you rightly point out that because Maxwell possesses that reverse sweep slog, that deep point is forced to be almost behind square on the offside, which opens up such a large area over that extra cover fielder. The gap between long off and the man at point, it's miles.
As we speak, Dhananjay Silva is dropping down, the mid-on coming up. It's going to be a new challenge for Jeffrey Van der Say. A deep mid-wicket, a deep square leg, mid-on up. It has to be just outside the off stump. Cannot be any straight.
There's the response. There's a chance here. It's going to take some catching. Out! Lovely catch in the deep. A change of field placing. And Van der Say has his third.
Skipper Shanaka and Van der Say threw the challenge at Maxwell. Asked him to go over mid-on, bowling outside the off stump. And Maxwell taking the challenge up. The carrot pay ease. He couldn't get the distance, got the elevation. And young Vellalage, never easy, running back. Just way outside the off stump. If he had left it, could have been wide. And young Vellalage, he cannot do anything wrong. Safe as houses. And Van der Say, that's very good bowling. Yeah, the haircut took it away. This is brilliant. Yeah, elated, as expected. Maxwell, gone for 33 of 18. Australia, 233 for 6.
Well, there's a lot of expectation on this man's shoulders. Not speaking about today, I'm talking about the future of Australian cricket. Cameron Green, not on strike. Green will touch and come back for two. Can't keep him out the action, Vellalage.
And that's good batting as well by Travis Head. Picked up the googly. And this was wicket Sri Lanka was craving for. Bottom of the bat, got the elevation, not the distance, and young Vellalage backtracking. That's a good catch, very good catch. Looking over the shoulder, never easy running back. The crowd elated. Just thinking about Cameron Green actually. Permanent men bat number 6 in the test team for Australia. Trying to make his name in the one-day setup. And I'm pretty sure that he's somebody that the Australians will be looking at. The next generation when it comes to the all-rounders, bowling those 5 to 6 overs and batting as a batting all-rounder.
So Head will keep the strike. 45 gone, 236 for 6.
A successful over by Jeffrey Van der Say. Into the 9th of his over, 42 for 3. Still to come, Jai Richardson warming up. 6 wicket down, 5 overs to go for Sri Lanka. It's interesting, 5 overs coming up as a batting card. Travis said playing the steady role, 32 of 47. Maxwell entertaining, 33. Just inning was over. And Cameron Green yet to face. Just 12 extras, 236 for 6, evenly poised.
So Jai Richardson will walk in next, then Kuhnemann is just his second one-day international. Josh Hazlewood at number 11. Cameron Green hasn't faced a ball yet. He's a big man. There's still a lot of belief in the masses here. Every time they think the opposition are getting on top of their side, something special happens. And that bit of cricket from Jeffrey Van der Say, along with Dustin Shanaka and Velalage was exceptional. The change of field, the big turning leg break wide of off stump, forcing Maxwell to go over mid-on. And the good catch in the deep has, again, given Sri Lanka a little bit of hope here to finish well, finish with momentum. This will bring Cameron Green on strike. How good has this young man been since he's been introduced into the side? Absolutely fearless in everything he does. He's contributed with a bat, he's been magnificent in the field, and he's never shied away from a contest with any of the Australian batters.
What a game we have in our hands. It's a 100th ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Just to remind our viewers, evenly poised at the moment under these conditions. Slight misfield by Dasun Shanaka. Quite safe when it comes to his catching power, but sometimes, yep, even the best could do the wrong.
Evenly poised. Not an easy surface to bat on. It's turned.
I said that prediction-wise, we said 250, 260. Looks like 260 is definitely gettable. Sri Lanka chased down. Of course, yes, it's going to be tough. But the start, especially under lights, probably the best time to bat. If the Sri Lankans can get to a decent start, and with Australia just playing the left-arm spinner and Maxwell as the second spinner, there is a chance. But the start, laying the foundation, that's going to be key. But more than 260, yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely a tough chase to run down, especially in these conditions.
Well, runner ball will get them there. And that's the important thing when walking into bat, as Cameron Green has done, is yes, he wants to get a feel of the surface, but needs to score straight away. Not necessarily hit the ball out the ground, but keep the scoreboard ticking, and he's done that. 2 off 2 balls. He's knocked on off the back foot through cover, then he's got on bended knee and swept one. He'll have a look at 1 or 2 more, but if something is in his area, it'll go. That's a lovely shot.
Nice driven through all around the ground by Cameron Green. That's the speed he can possess. End of the 46th, Australia 243 for 6. Decent over again by young Velalage. Just 1 more over remaining, 35 for 1. 4 overs remaining for Australia. Scores run a ball. End up something close to 270, 270, 275. Is definitely a huge score to score down, but done down. Big buildings not a part of the game. 13 extras. It's been a decent game. I think Sri Lanka has done decently well, picking up wickets.
Well, when you hear about an ebb and flow of an innings, there it is. Australia doing well, the Sri Lankan fight back, then Australia do well again, and Sri Lanka fight back. It's been the story of the last couple of weeks. Van der Sar will bowl 10, and Velalage will probably bowl 10 as well, but it will leave you with the question, Maha, that Dusmanta Chamera will be well short of his allotted 10, and he's bowled very well.
Would have been interesting to see if Glenn Maxwell was still batting, if Dasun Shanaka would possess with the 2 spinners going around. And that's where the call has come. I think Cameron Green will be more comfortable facing the fast bowlers rather than the spinners. Tavi said the same. But that's where I think initially bowling himself was, I thought, was a wrong call.
That 5th bowler, I say 5th bowler, Dhananjaya de Silva's bowled 6, Dasun Shanaka 1. Jamika Karunaratne 5. My arithmetic serves me correctly. That's 12. (91 in 12). It's a lot of runs.
No chance there. Oh, I thought if the ball had skidded, would have been a close call. Nevertheless, it's a good effort by young Villalage.
It's almost unfair though. Cameron Green takes 3 strides and he's across the other side. Oh, 1, 2, 3, done.
Definitely got the disadvantages there. But I said probably was trying to go with Dashun Shanaka at extra cover. He had got better connection. There had been an easy boundary as there was no one patrolling there at deep extra cover. Cameron Green, it's a very, very built.
Nope. It's warm out there. You can only put the big strides in once every 2 or 3 overs. Final ball of the 47th had been a nice tidy over by the leg spinner. Just 6 from it so far. Been a good spell. So Jeffrey van der Sai's 10 overs come to an end. 3 for 49, a very good spell of bowling. It brings up the 250. Australia are 6 down.
That was a good spell by this man, Jeffrey van der Sai's, coming in the place of Vanidhu Hasaranga and doing the same job, similar job what Vanidhu Hasaranga used to do, finishing his 10 overs, 49 for 3. It's never easy to be the shadow player and come out and perform a side like Australia. Nevertheless, a brilliant effort. The Lalage got 1 more over. Looks like Dushmantha Chameera is coming into the attack. Maybe go a couple of overs.
Lovely spell of bowling. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera. So he'll bowl 2 overs and we'll finish with just the 8. Never easy to bowl at the back end, but Dushmantha Chameera has all the tricks. He can bowl with real pace, but he can also bowl plenty of slower balls, off cutters and leg cutters. Likes to bowl that slower ball bumper where he rips it into the surface. And with 3rd man and fine leg up, I can't think he's going to be bowling with that much pace. Wow, what a shot that is.
Not a good start by Dushmantha Chameera, right in Travis Head's arc, mid-on off, the extra cover up, and asking for trouble. The batsman well said, not going to miss out. Trying to bowl probably the white Yorker, missing the length probably by 6 inches. Looks like the off cutter, right in his arc, and head. Oh my God! Whew. Look at that for a stroke. Disbelief everywhere.
Yeah, the problem there with the slower ball, with the cutter, is the length's too full. So the surface, it can't bite into the surface and lose pace. It's just a long half volley.
It has to be full white or some ochre, or else balls off cut, as you said, into the pitch, make it slower. So Jeffrey van der Sai picked up 3 wickets. Brilliant game. That was Manish Labuschagne, stumped by Dick Weller. This was a fantastic catch by Dhananjay De Silva to get rid of skipper Finch. And the big one, Glenn Maxwell, caught at mid-on, a smart catch by young Villalage. Brings all the luck to the haircut.
Yeah, those aren't just 3 wickets, those are 3 big ones. Finch, Labuschagne, Maxwell. pace off. Nothing. Didn't even get to the keeper.
That was a leg cutter by Dushman Chamira. Cameron Green probably was trying to go over extra cover. The length was much better. Wasn't full, wasn't short. Bounced a little bit. Beaten all ends up. Very good delivery.
The length's got to be critical because Green likes to go between long off and deep mid-wicket. He likes to stand tall and use those long levers. Nudge down to mid-off, and just a little bit of misjudgment in the deep by Sri Lanka.
Called it correctly, HD. Don't think Charith Sri Lanka did pick it up initially. Was a bit too late to react. Another slower delivery. Gain a good length. Cameron Green too early to the stroke. And Sri Lanka, that should have been taken at this level. Good opportunity missed out.
Yeah, nicely bowled again. No room for Green to be able to free those arms. He cramped him. Yes, it was a leg cutter again in at middle and leg stump. Now there's a change of fielding as Knight closes in over the Premadasa. I say a change of fielder rather than a change of position. The skipper goes down to long on. This will fall safely as well. They're just not middling it. It's not easy out there. When the ball bites into that surface, it's difficult for the batters to find their timing.
Another slow delivery, this time a leg cut again. That should be the plan for Sri Lanka. Bowling those slow balls into the pitch. Remember when Chami Karunaratne bowled a slow ball in Gem Maxwell's arc, he was going straight. But this is far better. Batsman not able to get that timing or the placement. It's too paced. Now this is where experience of Chamira comes in very handy.
He's fought back hard in this over, Dushmantha Chameera. The first delivery was side through extra cover. And a swing and a miss. Brilliant finish. 8 from it, 258 for 6.
Exhibition of great slow ball deliveries by Dushman Chameera. Never easy with his height. And the length was brilliant. He's been playing a lot of cricket lately. Young man. Only 7th over. 258 for 6. 2 more overs to go. And anything close to 275 will be very, very tough score to chase down. Travis said still going strong on 46. Have played that sedate role, the most steadier role. Cameron Green just coming in. It's not easy to straight away go bang bang.
It's been a responsible innings by Travis Head. 46 or 58 deliveries. Good partnership with Alex Carey. Just rebuilt the Australian innings while it was beginning to stutter. And then the acceleration, the expected acceleration from Maxwell. The total sits on the brink of something really imposing on a pitch that's offered turn for the spinners, and if the seamers have showed their skill, it's been useful for them as well. Yet again, the captain throws the ball to the young man in a pressurized situation and says, I back you.
Straight away, 49th over. The young man is going to be tough work, but Dasun Shanaka definitely backs the young man. Had the option of bowling Chami Karunaratne as a quick bowl those slow deliveries into the pitch. But Dasun Shanaka trust the new star in the making.
What's really impressive about this young man is he seems to know exactly what he wants. He's happy to walk across to his captain and say, this is the field. He's happy to say to the keeper, don't change the field. This is the field I want. Nicely bowled again. At 19 years of age, I can think of many players around the world who, if the captain said this is the field, they would have just said, yes, sir. And where would you like me to bowl? but he certainly has the confidence and the aura about him that suggests he has a long international future ahead.
And also captain himself in the 2022 Under-19 World Cup. Think like a captain. As you said, never shy to have a conversation, talk to the captain, telling him exactly what he wants. It's captain's cool. Maybe not the first class teams yet, but definitely someone the selectors have identified as a future leader.
Down the ground goes Travis Head and gets to the pitch and brings up his 50. His 12th one in one-day internationals, his first versus Sri Lanka.
That's a very good stroke down the ground. Got right in the pit of the pitch. And Villalage did not give that much of air, but just enough for Travis Head to come down the ground, go with the turn. Very important. Trusted it hitting area zone. The long on fielder Kusal Mendis had no chance. That's a brilliant 50 under pressure by Travis Head.
Goes again, and he's got it once more.
Right in his arc again. This is where Villalage will be tested. Coming round the wicket, trying to go just outside the off stump with having 4 fielders in the offside, saving the single with only long off. But the smart batting by Travis Head. Again, coming down the track. And this time going a little bit squarer towards mid-wicket, dragging it. I think the length was crucial. Just in the right hitting zone. And Villalage, the young Villalage, under the pump.
This time just a touch straighter, and it'll be 2 more. Villalage at the moment bowling the ball right into the left-hander's hitting zone. All the protection is away on the left side, on the leg side, but he really needs to cramp the left-hander for room. He can't let him free his arms.
Last one.
Probably the bowling it full with one option. Coming over the wicket this time.
And again, same result. Huge over for Australia and Travis Head. .21 from the over, 279 for 6.
Most expensive of the innings. Massive sixes in this over. Third one was bigger, flat, got the elevation as well. Travis Head. There's a big risk being taken by Dasun Shanaka, definitely backfired. Had the option of bowling the fast bowler, but trusted the young man. With the left-hander in, was a big call taken and backfired. It's good to see the Kalla going and comforting the young man. I think Sri Lanka missed the trick in that over.
Just what you want if you're the batting side, to finish with a flourish. 3 big sixes by Travis Head. And now 279 for 6. Australia will feel as though they've got plenty on the board. It's the line. The line, he's outside off stump, which just allows Travis Head to swing his arms as a left-hander away to that leg side. Every single man on the boundary on that leg side. But here's Dusmanta Chamira with the final over of the innings.
Masterclass of slow deliveries dished out by Dusmanta Chamira. I think he delivered 5 of them in the last over. Let's count how many in this over. Going to be pretty much similar. In Cameron Green, the cardinal he's doing is going through too early, waiting for that delivery to arrive. This is where the inexperience shows of Cameron Green, who wouldn't have played much cricket in subcontinent in these conditions against a bowler who is very good at bowling his variation in the death overs.
Has he got it? Has he got it? He's a strong lad, and he has.
.50 partnership with that 6. Cameron Green and Travis said, what a way to bring it. And this time the delivery was much fuller. That was the reason why Cameron Green could get under it and got the elevation and the distance. Yeah. can do better than that.
Going at over 10 to the over in the last 10 overs here. Stumbled. He just stumbled, Cameron Green, but the shy was not taken.
A quicker delivery that time by Chamira. That's where Chamira's experience have been very handy for Sri Lanka. Straight away when the slow ball did not work, he went for the Yorker, the tried and tested. Cameron Green, that massive 6, 286 in these conditions, going to be tough chase for Sri Lanka. Overlooking the Columbus city, beautiful sights, sun setting.
There it is again. There it is again.
I think Head did the right thing, went with the turn. That was a leg cut again by Chamira, trying to target the mid-wicket boundary. Once again, played it too early, and that unusual bounce, the tennis ball bounce when he bowled that slow delivery, was undone.
Don't spill it. Fine leg up. Third man up. Around the wicket. Dismantle Chamira. 4. Full toss. They'll have a look to see if it was above waist height. I'm not sure it's going to be. But Travis Head has helped himself to 4. And he has raced to 70.
A loose delivery. Outside the off stump, touch and go for a no ball, but what Travis Head did got the placement right. Again going for that Yorker with the mid on and mid off up. It's a huge risk. Big apart, shot third and car point up. It's a huge risk holding that delivery, but saying that, that's how the Australians have batted, putting the Sri Lankan bowlers under pressure.
Travis Head's first 30 balls, he had 17 runs. Green wants it, Green will get it. First 30 balls, he had 17 runs. So this is how you accelerate an innings. Travis Head, well played. 70 of 65 balls. It brings to an end the Australians' innings. 291 for 6. Jeffrey Van der Sar was brilliant, 3 for 49 in 10. Tikshana at the top was 0 for 37 in 10. He was good as well. All the spinners played a part, but it was an intelligent batting display by Alex Carey and Travis Head with some fireworks from Glenn Maxwell. This will be a challenging chase for Sri Lanka.
The last 10 overs, 98 runs. That was brilliant.